New year, new pleasure. Start 2025 with Starship's Customer Appreciation Days every day in January. Visit Starship locations on Old National Road in Atlanta, Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, and Highway 34 in Noonan, and indulge in an extra 20% off when you whisper the secret keyword pleasure at checkout. Awaken your passions and spice up the new year with 20% off in-store every day in January. Just say the secret word pleasure. Make 2025 the year of endless pleasure with Starship, your trusted partner in sexual health and wellness.
Taxes was waiting around for your taxes to be done, which led to worrying about not getting any money back. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes in a day to get you up to $4,000 fast with a refund advance loan. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Expert filing only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Refund advance has $0 loan fees and 0% APR. Refund advance loans may be issued by First Century Bank, N.A. or Web Bank. Terms apply. Subject to approval.
Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Comedy on this Friday with episodes of The Great Gildersleeve starring Willard Waterman, Truth or Consequences starring Ralph Edwards, The Robert Q. Lewis Show, a first-time appearance here for the Q on the program, Fibber McGee and Molly going back 87 years, and an episode of Claudia. That's all coming up on this funny Friday. This is the 17th day of January, 348 days left till we get to the end of the year. James Madison Randolph, the grandson of Thomas Jefferson, becomes the first child born in the White House in 1806. In 1899, the U.S. took possession of Wake Island in the Pacific Ocean. In 1912, Sir Robert Falcon Scott, Scott of the Antarctic, reached the South Pole a month after Roald Amundsen. The Professional Golfers Association formed on this date in 1916. In 1917, the U.S. paid Denmark $25 million for the Virgin Islands. In 1929, LZ Chrysler Sagar's creation of Popeye the Sailor Man first appeared in the comic strip Thimble Theater. The caricature of Popeye now becomes in the public domain this year. In 1945, Soviet forces captured the almost completely destroyed Polish city of Warsaw, while the Nazis began the evacuation of the Auschwitz concentration camp as Soviet forces closed in. In 1946, the UN Security Council held its first session. In 1950, the Great Brinks robbery. 11 thieves stole more than $2 million from an armored car company's offices in Boston. In 1977, convicted murderer Gary Gilmore executed by firing squad in Utah, ending a 10-year moratorium on the death penalty in the U.S.
I simply accepted a sentence that was given to me. I've accepted sentences all my life. I didn't know I had a choice in the matter. When I did accept it, everybody jumped up and wanted to start to argue with me. It seems that the people, especially the people of Utah, they want the death penalty, but they don't want executions. And when it became a reality, they might have to carry one out. Well, I started backing off on it. Well, I took them literal and serious, and they sentenced me to death, just as if they'd have sentenced me to 10 years or 30 days in the county jail or something. I thought you were supposed to take them serious. I didn't know it was a joke.
Yeah, Gary Gilmore, before his execution, saying, you want to do executions? Fine, execute me. And then people saying, well, wait a minute, we don't think execution is humane. What can I say? Gary Gilmore executed on this date back in 1977. 1991, Operation Desert Storm began early in the morning on this date. Iraq fired 8 Scud missiles into Israel in an unsuccessful bid to provoke Israeli retaliation.
Throughout the entire sky, there are flashes of light. It appears to be some sort of anti-aircraft fire, a couple of flashes on the horizon now. Something is definitely underway here. Something is going on.
The liberation of Kuwait has begun. In conjunction with the forces of our coalition partners, the United States has moved under the code name Operation Desert Storm to enforce the mandates of the United Nations Security Council.
Reporter Gary Shepard and White House Press Secretary Marlin Fitzwater on the beginning of Operation Desert Storm. On this date in 1994, Southern California is suffering a major earthquake, 6.7 on the Richter scale, 57 people killed. 16 of them died in the community of Northridge, where an apartment building collapsed. This boy survived the quake.
My stereo broke, my TV broke, my Super Nintendo broke, my birds died, my fish tank broke, my VCR broke, but thank God I'm alive.
Counting his losses, but counting his blessings that he survived. 1 year later, in 1995, an earthquake on this date measuring 7.2 devastated Kobe, Japan. More than 6,000 people died. The quake awakened Emil Kobovitz of New York, who was staying at a hotel there.
We passed the hospital, and they have no room in the hospital itself, so they are tending the injured outside the hospitals, and in the cold, they're just laying there.
2 earthquakes on either side of the Pacific Ocean, 1 year apart on this date in history. In 1998, Paula Jones accused President Bill Clinton of sexual harassment. And on that same date, Matt Drudge broke the story of the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky affair on his Drudge Report website. In 2001, faced with an electric crisis, California used rolling blackouts to cut off power to hundreds of thousands of people. Passing away on this date in history, Vice President of the United States, President 19, Rutherford B. Hayes, actors Doodles Weber and Richard Crenna, actress Virginia Mayo, journalist Art Buchwald, chess player Bobby Fischer, author and screenwriter Eric Segal, also songwriter and producer Don Kirshner, and Johnny Otis from The Johnny Otis Show, Willie and the Hand Jive. Birthdays on this date include the man we lost last year, James Earl Jones.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Did you know that James Earl Jones never met Carrie Fisher until after the whole Star Wars shows were shot? Because he did all of his work in post-production. It was all voiceover work. And they never met until afterwards. And that's why it was amusing to watch their interactions on The Big Bang Theory. James Earl Jones, born on this date in history. As I said, we lost him last year at the age of 93. Great voice. Statesman Ben Franklin, born on this date. Film director Max Sennett did so many great silent films. Also another great silent actor, Noah Beery. Gangster Al Capone. Betty White. The only thing I can say about remembering her on this birth date is that she made it to 99 on this earth. And she has spent the last 4 years reunited with the forever lover of her life, Alan Ludden. Actress, singer Eartha Kitt, cosmetologist Bidal Sassoon, ventriloquist Sherry Lewis, actor Troy Donahue, boxer Muhammad Ali, and the bizarre Andy Kaufman, comedian/wrestler, born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
You are not the father, at least that's what Maury Povich says. Maury Povich, 86 today. The man who sang, "The More I See You, the More I Want You." Chris Montez, 82 years old today. Musician Paul Young, 69 today. Steve Harvey, still going strong at 68. Family Feuding it, don't you know? The Bangles, Susanna Hoffs, is 66. We mentioned Andy Kaufman earlier, the man who played Andy Kaufman in the motion picture about his life. Jim Carrey is 63 today.
Good morning!
Good morning!
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
From The Truman Show, Jim Carrey is 63 today. Michelle Obama, the former First Lady, 61.
Young people, don't be afraid. Be focused. Be determined.
Michelle Obama, 61 today. Kid Rock, 54.
And we were trying different things, and we were smoking funny things, making love out by the lake to our favorite song, sipping whiskey out the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow, singing Sweet Home Alabama all summer long.
His song All Summer Long, Kid Rock, 64 today. Actress Zooey Deschanel is 45, and she was Rose Tico in the Star Wars sequels. Kelly Marie Tran is 36. Those just a few of the people celebrating the 17th day of January is their birthday. If this happens to be your birthday,
we baked you a birthday cake.
If you get a tummy ache
And you moan and groan and woe, don't forget we told you so. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Make a wish, dear, and blow out the candles.
Here they go.
we talk about sequels all the time. Well, we're going to hear the sequel of an actor. Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve comes up first on this Friday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
New year, new pleasure. Start 2025 with Starship's Customer Appreciation Days every day in January. Visit Starship locations on Old National Road in Atlanta, Terra Boulevard in Jonesboro, and Highway 34 in Noonan. And indulge in an extra 20% off when you whisper the secret keyword pleasure at checkout. Awaken your passions and spice up the new year with 20% off in-store every day in January. Just say the secret word pleasure. Make 2025 the year of endless pleasure with Starship, your trusted partner in sexual health and wellness.
Should public utilities fail in time of disaster, refrigerated foods must be either cooked or eaten before they spoil. If this can't be done, throw it away.
In the last couple of years of the 40s, CBS went seriously and went hard into acquisition mode. They tried to bring over all the stars of radio to CBS, and the main reason was so that they had stars for television. And they worked hard on that by bringing over Jack Benny. They also brought Amos and Andy. They brought over Lum and Abner. They also brought over Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy. And they also tried to bring over the Great Gildersleeve. They did that by signing Harold Perry to a contract. Well, it seemed that Kraft didn't want to move the Great Gildersleeve off NBC. They owned the Great Gildersleeve. So what happened when Harold Perry was signed to a CBS contract and the Great Gildersleeve, the show he starred in, was on NBC? He was screwed. I mean, let's face it. You know, he said, well, they'll move with me. Well, they didn't, because they had Willard Waterman in the wings, who sounded a lot like Harold Perry, who could do a passable one, but he would not do the Gildersleeve laugh. He would not. And so you saw a slight change in temperament of Gildersleeve when Harold Perry left and Willard Waterman came in. And I've always said the biggest discrepancy that you'll find between people is, which Gildersleeve is the real Gildersleeve? Is it Perry? Is it Waterman? And a lot of people will say Harold Perry, and I thought Perry did a good job. But I think Willard Waterman not only proved to be a passable Gildersleeve, he also proved to be a respectable actor because he wouldn't do the laugh. He would not do that Gildersleeve distinctive laugh. He says, that's Perry's, that's not mine. So let's listen to an episode of The Great Gildersleeve as things were changing in the first season after Perry's departure, January 17th, 1951, 74 years ago today.
Transcribed. The Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you each week by the Kraft Foods Company. Kraft, a name that for years has meant fine cheese, is the maker of the new Kraft Deluxe Slices. These slices of wonderful pasteurized processed cheese are perfect. No dried edges, no broken pieces, because they're wrapped right in the spick and span Kraft plant. You'll find Kraft's delicious processed cheese in slices in neat half-pound packages in your grocer's dairy case. 8 big slices in every package. Tomorrow, take home several of these convenient packages and get acquainted with Kraft Deluxe Slices, the most delicious processed cheese you've ever tasted. It's Saturday morning at the Great Gildersleeve's house, and is the water commissioner lolling in bed? No, sir. He's up and dressing.
Yeah, by George, Saturday's my favorite day. Leroy doesn't have to go to school. Bronco can stay home. I can spend a happy day with my little family. Good day to wear this sport shirt I got for Christmas. Nice. You think I'll leave the shirt tail out, Palm Beach style? Yeah, I'll just be lounging around the house. Yes, that. A bee in January? Oh, Bertie's using the vacuum cleaner. Good morning, Bertie.
Good morning, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'll get you breakfast as soon as I vacuum the hall.
Yeah, no hurry, Bertie. Take your time.
Miss Marjorie's moving all the furniture around this morning, so I thought it was a good time to vacuum the house.
Marjorie's moving furniture, you say?
Yes, sir. And Mr. Bronco don't think she ought to be doing that. That boy's fit to be tied.
Well, should she be that active, Bertie? Is she feeling all right?
Oh, you don't have to worry about Miss Marjorie. She's feeling fine.
Yeah, good.
The one we may have to call the doctor for is Mr. Bronco.
Oh, my goodness. That boy's been a bundle of nerves ever since he found out he was going to be a father.
Yes, sir. You think he's going to be the mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what he's so nervous about. Baby isn't due for a month. Yeah, I guess it's natural when he's about to become a father for the first time. Yeah, I'll just have to straighten Bronco out. Well, guess I won't have to. Look at them sitting on the couch, holding hands. Hello!
Good morning, Unky.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. You holding hands, I see.
He's only holding him to keep me from rearranging the furniture.
Yeah.
Mr. Gildersleeve, I have a feeling we can expect the baby at any time.
Oh, Bronco.
Now, Bronco, the doctor said it would be late February.
Mr. Gildersleeve, my grandmother always said, when a woman starts moving furniture around, look out. The time is close at hand.
Yo. Bronco, that's an old wives' tale.
Well, the wives ought to know.
This boy's in bad shape.
I can't get Marjorie to listen to me. I'm having a terrible time.
Now, Bronco.
Who's having a terrible time?
I am, Leroy.
Yeah? What's your trouble? Maybe I can help you.
Leroy, if there's any helping to be done, I'll do it.
Okay.
Now then, Bronco.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, I know you're concerned about Marjorie, and that's all well and good. But...
Hey, Unc, your shirt tail's out.
Yeah, I know, Leroy. Now, as I was about to say, Bronco.
Why don't you tuck it in?
Leroy, it's supposed to be out. It's sporty.
Yeah?
Now, Bronco.
You leave your shirt tail out and it's sporty. I leave mine out and it's sloppy. Well, I can't stand that lamp by the piano. I think I'll move it over.
Oh, no, you don't, Marge. If it has to be moved, I'll move it.
But, darling, I can move
No,
it.
honey, I'll do it.
Well, while you're moving the lamp, I'll move this end table.
No.
Oop.
Marge, don't you touch another thing.
Now, Bronco.
Let her move it.
Leroy, I think you better go outside and kick your football. That's the place for adolescents. And Bronco?
Yes, sir?
Why don't you go with him? Yeah. Fine breakfast, Marjorie.
Well, thank you, Unky.
You didn't have to fix it for me. Bertie was going to.
Well, I wanted to do it. I feel like doing things, and my only chance is when Bronco's out of the house.
Yeah, I understand.
He's such a fuss budget.
Well, it's a very natural concern, my dear.
I suppose so. Here, I'll clear away the dishes.
Yeah, Marjorie. Sit down a minute and talk to your old uncle.
All right.
Now then. Are you sure you're not overdoing it? Just a little?
Of course not, Unky. I feel wonderful.
Yeah, that's good. We want to take the best possible care of our little girl.
Oh, you're sweet, Unky.
So if there's anything at all you want, or anything I can do...
Are you all right, Marge?
Yes, Bronco. Just keep playing with Leroy.
Okay, honey, if you're sure you're all right.
She's all right.
Okay.
Unky, I'm worried about Bronco. He may have a nervous breakdown.
Well, he does have a wild look in his eye.
Can't you take him somewhere and get his mind off me?
I don't know. There is the Jolly Boys meeting tonight.
Well, why don't you take him?
Oh, I don't think he'd enjoy being with us. Besides, he'll quiet down. Playing football with Leroy will settle his nerves.
Are you still all right, honey?
Here we go again.
Yes, Bronco, I'm fine. What's the matter with your eye?
Oh, that.
Say, it's swollen.
Yeah, I was looking in the window to see if you were all right when Leroy threw a pass.
Oh, my goodness.
You haven't been moving things, have you, Marge?
Well, she brought in my breakfast, Bronco. He wasn't heavy, just one egg.
I knew I should have stayed in here. I'll never leave you again.
Oh, don't be silly, darling. You've got to do something, Uncle Mort.
Yes, well...
Every time I think of what you're going through, I get weak in the knees.
Oh, Bronco.
You pull yourself together, my boy. Becoming a father for the first time isn't such a harrowing experience.
Yeah, but, gee whiz.
You'll get used to it after you've had 9 or 10.
9 or 10?
Unky, we won't have 9 or 10. We only plan to have 5 or 6.
Marge, the plans have changed. I could never live through this again.
Yeah, that settles it. I'll have to take him to the Jolly Boys. Yep, a night at the Jolly Boys Club is just what Bronco needs. It'll be good for his nerves. Yeah, and Marjorie's, too. Say nothing of mine. Yeah, I'll drop in and mention it to Peavy. Hello, Peavy.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you today?
Well, I have a little problem, Peavy.
You don't say.
You give me a cigar, and I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, well. There you are.
Yeah, thank you. Peavy, you know Marjorie and Bronco are expecting the baby.
Yes, the whole town is helping them expect it.
Yes, well, what would you think about bringing him up to the Jolly Boys Club tonight?
The baby?
No, Peavy. I mean Bronco. The baby isn't due until next month.
Oh, then you couldn't bring him up tonight anyway.
Hardly, Peavy.
Of course, they do arrive early sometimes.
Well, that's what has Bronco on edge. That's why I have to get him out of the house.
Well, doesn't Bronco want to be there for the big event?
Oh, of course, Peavy. He's a very solicitous father. In fact, he's overdoing it. He's practically a nervous wreck.
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, I would be, too, if I were an expectant father.
Yeah, I guess so. A fine cigar, Peavy.
Here comes Judge Hooker.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Well, hello, Judge.
Oh, it's you, Gildy. I didn't recognize you behind the smoke.
It's me, Judge.
What a lovely long cigar. Are you playing the role of grandfather or just pretending that you're Mount Vesuvius?
Courtroom comedian.
Mr. Gildersleeve was just saying he might bring a visitor to the club tonight.
Oh?
Yes, I thought I'd bring Bronco, Judge. Marjorie thinks he should get out of the house for a while. The boy needs recreation.
Splendid idea, Gildy. I can understand how the boy would be overwrought. But soon all his tribulations will be forgotten in the joys of fatherhood.
Yes.
Wonderful thing, fatherhood.
But alas, none of us has ever been a father.
No, but Mrs. Peavy and I have always wanted to have a family.
Oh?
In fact, I set aside a box of cigars for just such an eventuality. That was 20 years ago.
Too bad, Peavy. You never got to use those cigars.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
What?
How do you know you're not smoking one of them?
Peavy!
The Great Gildersleeve will be back in just a moment. Now you can make more delicious cheese sandwiches more easily than ever. Just get Kraft Deluxe Slices, perfect sandwich-sized slices of extra delicious pasteurized processed cheese. Kraft Deluxe Slices are wrapped 8 to a half-pound package and are delightfully different from any sliced cheese you've ever had before. They're different because Kraft slices are made a completely new way. Instead of being cut from a loaf, these slices are actually formed by an exclusive new Kraft invention, which captures every bit of the fine processed cheese flavor, more delicious flavor than you've ever enjoyed before in every single slice. And you could be sure Kraft slices will reach you clean, sanitary, and in perfect condition because they're wrapped right in the spick and span Kraft plant. Every slice perfect. No slivers, broken pieces, or dried edges. And these slices of delicious processed cheese are sandwich size. So handy for easy cheese sandwiches you can fix in a jiffy. And, of course, one of the nicest things about this extra good-tasting processed cheese is the convenience of the package. You can easily keep several varieties on hand all the time because these packages take up so little room in your refrigerator. Tomorrow, look in your grocer's dairy case for those perfect slices of unusually delicious processed cheese, Kraft Deluxe Slices. Well, let's get back to the Great Gildersleeve. Everybody agrees that Bronco, the expected father, should accompany the water commissioner to the Jolly Boys meeting this evening. That is, everybody agrees except Bronco.
But, Mr. Gildersleeve, I don't want to go. I want to stay here and keep an eye on Marge.
No, Bronco, you can't sit here and keep an eye on her for a whole month.
Well, I've said it once and I'll say it again. How do we know it's going to be a month?
Well, the doctor says.
True, Mr. Gildersleeve, but my grandmother always said when a woman starts moving furniture around...
We know the time is close at hand.
Yes. So how do we know? How do we know?
Unc, you better get him out before he comes unglued.
Leroy, I'll handle this.
Okay, I'll go look for the glue.
Yes.
Bronco, when Uncle Mort invites you to his club, the least you can do is go.
But, Marge...
I've told the Jolly Boys you're coming. They're looking forward to it.
Here's your hat and have a good time.
I refuse to have a good time. I don't want to offend anybody, but I refuse to go.
Yofer.
Mr. Bronco.
Oh, what is it, Bertie?
If Bertie can put in her 2 cents, I think you ought to go. You need to change.
Well, I appreciate your interest, Bertie, but it's my duty to stay close to Marge.
Yes, sir. But look at it this way. There's a telephone at the Jolly Boys Club, ain't there, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Oh, yes, of course, Bertie.
That's nice. You see, Mr. Bronco? Then you're as close to Miss Marjorie as the telephone.
Well...
That's right, Bronco.
That's the way we get in touch with the doctor, by telephone.
I hadn't thought about the telephone. Thanks, Bertie. I'll go if it'll make everybody happy.
I really think you should, Bronco.
Well, that's settled.
Yes, sir. Bertie's 2 cents worth paid off.
You bet.
Bertie's 2 cents worth about the telephone got him to go.
Yeah, that's right, Bertie.
Mr. Bronco's sitting here not budging an inch, and Bertie's 2 cents worth got him to go.
True, Bertie.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you know what got him to go?
Yes, Bertie.
That's right, Bertie's 2 cents worth got him to go.
Oh, hurry up, Bronco. Let's go.
Hi, Commish. We're waiting for you.
Hello, Floyd. Hi, Peavy.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Gildy, where's Bronco?
Oh, he'll be up in a minute, Judge. He stopped down the street to phone Marjorie.
We got a phone up here.
Well, he couldn't wait.
My. And you say the baby isn't expected for another month?
That's right, Peavy.
That boy will spend a lot of nickels between now and then.
Well, take it from a barber. The kid's got a lot on his mind, and it ain't just hair.
Yeah, that's why I invited him up, fellas.
Yes, our project for the evening, gentlemen, is to make our young friend Bronco forget his needless anxiety.
Yeah, we'll work on him. I'll open up the coat.
Good idea, Peavy. Here he comes now.
Sorry I'm late, men, but I had to phone my wife.
Well, I explained that, Bronco. Now, settle down.
Yeah, yes, sir. Hello, Mr. Peavy. Judge.
Yeah, hello, Bronco.
Welcome to the club, Bronco.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Munson.
Hi, kid. But drop the mister. I'm Floyd, to my friends, customers, and prospective fathers.
Lloyd, don't bring up the subject.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
I propose that we welcome our young friend to the Jolly Boys Club with a rousing song.
Yeah, you sing, don't you, Bronco?
Not very well.
Then you can sing lead.
What's this, Judge?
Gildy usually sings lead, but he doesn't sing well either.
You old goat.
Hey, where's Chief of Police Gates?
He won't be here tonight. He has to tend jail.
Well, then I'll sing the bass part.
Oh, my goodness. Judge, you can't sing bass. You can't get below high C.
Oh, yes, I can. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do.
That won't do, Judge. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do.
Hey, the commish ain't a bad bass.
You ask me, he's very bass.
Yes. Now, what'll we sing?
There is a tavern in the town.
No. We'll sing Down by the Old Mill Street.
You sing what you want to sing, and I'll sing what I want.
Oh, now, guys.
That song has a nice solo line for Bronco.
Yeah, say, where is Bronco?
He's over in the corner phoning, I believe.
Again? Bronco, we're waiting.
Coming, Mr. Gildersleeve. Are you sure you're all right, Marge? Huh? Are you taking it easy? Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, goodbye, honey.
What a devoted husband.
She's all right, man. I just talked to her, and she's all right.
Well, of course she's all right.
Sure, she's okay. Now, come on, kid, and join in the frivolity.
Well, a man has to keep a check on things.
Yeah. Well, here's your part, Bronco. It's the lead.
Oh, I don't think I'd better sing the lead.
We insist, Bronco.
Well, all right.
Here we go down the stream. Grab an oar. Down by the old mill stream, where I first met you, with your eyes so blue, dressed in gingham too. It was there I knew that you loved me true.
Your line, Bronco.
You were 16, my village queen, down by the old mill street.
Old Mill Street.
Well, that takes care of that.
Yeah, it seems to.
I guess I was a little flat.
Yeah, a little. But what the heck?
Yeah.
We're here to have fun. That's the important thing.
There must be some other way to have it. How about a little game of pinochle?
Pinochle?
Sure, anything to make you forget you're going to be a father.
Lloyd.
Excuse me, man. I think I better phone home again.
Floyd, you did it again.
All I said was we
I
wanted...
told you to be quiet.
So did I.
Blabbermouth.
Fellows,
Oh, Marge.
let Bronco make his call.
Yeah.
He won't be happy until he knows Marjorie's all right.
What's that, Marge? Where do I think the mirror should go?
Oop, there she goes again.
Yeah, but Marge, honey, look, you promised you wouldn't move things. Just sit down right where you are. Don't touch anything. I'll be right home.
Now, Bronco, wait a minute.
Go, Mr. Gildersleeve. Marge is rearranging the furniture again.
Oh, tidying up the place, is she?
Judge, my grandmother always said that can mean only one thing. The time is close at hand. Good night, men. And thanks for everything.
He seemed a little excited.
That boy.
What's this about rearranging furniture, Commish?
I've heard of that. It's the mother instinct, preparing the home for the little one. It's supposed to mean the arrival is imminent.
Yeah?
Oh, it's just an old wives' tale, Floyd.
Oh.
And I wish Bronco would take the doctor's word instead of his grandmother's.
Well, they can arrive early. I was a 7 months baby myself. Weighed 3.5 pounds.
You've come a long way, Floyd.
Yeah, one of my feet weighs that much now.
Well, shall we play pinochle?
Well, I guess we may as well. Yeah, I'm sure everything's all right at home.
I think so. Don't you, Floyd?
Oh, yeah, them doctors know their stuff. Right, Judge?
I'm positive Bronco is unduly concerned. Aren't you, Gilda?
Sure. 7 months, Floyd.
Yeah. Come to think of it, it ain't uncommon.
You fellas carry on. I think I'd better go home.
Why, Gilda?
Well, I want to see if Bronco got home all right.
Unky, you didn't have to come home just because Bronco did.
Well, I didn't get a very good pinochle hand. How are you feeling, Marjorie?
Fine. I'd have had everything arranged the way I wanted it if Bronco hadn't stopped me.
No, my dear. If furniture has to be rearranged, let Bronco do it. He's big and strong.
I'm getting weaker.
Here, Bronco, I'll help you with the chair.
No, Marjorie. Yeah, I'll help.
That's it. Over here. Thanks, Mr. Gildersleeve. I hope the Jolly Boys didn't think I was rude.
No, of course not, Bronco. They're up there playing pinochle, having a great time.
I'll get it!
Yeah, I'm right here, Bertie.
Who could that be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Good evening, Gilda.
Judge, I thought you were at the club.
Well, I left Floyd and Peavy there. I thought my place was here since I'm so close to the family.
Yes.
How's Marjorie?
I'm fine, Judge.
Oh, I didn't see you, Marjorie. My, you look radiant.
Thank you.
She says she's fine, Judge.
Hello, Bronco.
Hello. Bronco, I didn't want the coffee table there. Here, let me...
No, Marjorie. We can do that.
Yes, Marjorie, let us handle it.
But, Unky,
Judge, I'm afraid I broke up the meeting tonight.
Not at all. Floyd and Peavy are holding the fort.
Now what?
I'll get it!
Yeah, all right, Bertie.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Gentlemen?
Hiya, Bertie. Everything all right, Bertie?
Yes, sir. The others are inside.
Oh, my goodness. Come on in, Floyd. Come in, Peavy.
Hi, everybody. Hiya, Marge.
Hello, Mr. Munson, Mr. Peavy.
Good evening, Marjorie.
Peavy, I didn't expect you and Floyd to drop by.
Well, I thought if there was much moving to be done, we'd help.
Yeah. We want to do anything we can.
That's why I came.
Too bad the chief ain't here. We could use the police siren on the way to the hospital.
Mr. Munson, that's ridiculous. It'll be weeks yet.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
You see, Marge, we've all got that feeling.
How do you feel, Marjorie?
Unky, with all this help here, I feel there's nothing for me to worry about. I think I'll go up to bed.
Hey, good girl.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night, Marjorie. Good night.
I'll go up with you, Miss Margie.
Oh, thank you, Bertie.
Them men all traipsing over here to see how you're feeling.
Aren't they cute?
Yes, ma'am. They think that furniture moving means something, but not Bertie. She don't believe in them old tales. No, ma'am.
Good night, Bertie.
Good night, Miss Margie. Miss Margie?
Yes, Bertie?
If you get that furniture moving feeling again, don't you touch nothing. You call Bertie.
Bertie, you're cute, too.
Yes, ma'am.
Good night, Bertie.
Good night, Miss Marjorie. Bless our little girl.
The Great Gildersleeve will be right back. To please all the folks at your house, there are 5 delicious varieties of Kraft Deluxe slices. So everyone can enjoy these perfect slices of extra good-eating pasteurized processed cheese, whether it's wonderfully mellow Kraft American with scarlet pimentos added, delightful nut-sweet Kraft Swiss, Kraft Brick with that deep-down rich taste, or sharp Old English brand. You'll want to have several kinds on hand always because these perfect slices are so handy for cheese snacks and sandwiches you can fix easily and quick as a wink. Tomorrow, look in your grocer's dairy case for the 5 delicious varieties of Kraft Deluxe Slices.
What time is it? 2 o'clock. Can't get to sleep. Who left the light on downstairs? What a family. Where are my slippers? Yeah. I hope I can last till this baby gets here. The family's falling to pieces. Lights burning all hours of the night. Who's downstairs? Marjorie? Bertie? Yeah. Nobody there. I'll have to go down and turn it off. Here's Bronco. Fell asleep in a chair. What's this? Suitcase on one side, telephone on the other. You wonder what he was thinking about. Bronco!
What? Oh, I'm awake. Let's go.
Wait, Rocco, wait.
Call the doctor. Here's the suitcase. I'm going to be a father. Call the hospital. I'll take Marge. You follow me in your car.
Rocco, stop running around the room. Open your eyes.
Where's Marge?
She's in bed, asleep. Everything is all right.
Are you sure?
Yes, my boy. Now go to bed and relax.
All right. Good night, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Rocco, you're going into the basement.
Oh, upstairs is this way.
Yes. Makes a long day. Good night, folks.
Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman. The show is written by Paul West, John Elliott, and Andrew White, with music by Robert Armbruster. Included in the cast are Walter Ketley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Dick Crenna, Arthur Q. Bryan, Earl Ross, and Dick LeGrand. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of a famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Here's his secret for making dull meals interesting. Add Kraft prepared mustard to any meat dish, hot or cold, and see the difference. Hidden flavors pop right out because when you add a little mustard, you add a lot of tang. There are 2 kinds of Kraft mustard, you know. Kraft salad mustard, delicately spiced for those who prefer a milder flavor, and Kraft mustard with snappy horseradish added. Have both on hand. For remember, with any meat dish, when you add a little mustard, you add a lot of tang. Get Kraft prepared mustard.
Don't miss The Falcon next Sunday over this station. Check your newspaper for time of broadcast and hear the Falcon solve the case of the substitute target.
The proceeding was transcribed. Read about Groucho Marx and Coronet. Hear him next on NBC.
I do find it interesting to listen to the 2 shows, and you can hear these subtle changes in the character, not just in the voice between Waterman and Perry. You hear that it's becoming a very, very different Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve, 74 years ago, January 17th, 1951. Ralph Edwards up next with an episode of the game show Truth or Consequences.
Two weeks, 14 days, 326 hours. Every second that your family could be exposed to radiation after a nuclear attack Radiation that kills.
To survive, a fallout shelter is a necessity. Equipment and supplies are essential.
Now, Survive All Shelters, one of the nation's leading manufacturers of fallout shelters, offers a basic equipment kit with
a Conelrad high-powered radio, transistor operated for long battery life,
a complete, fully stocked first aid kit,
a heavy-duty fire extinguisher, emergency water containers, a chemical toilet for protection against contamination and disease,
extra strength saran and rayon bunks,
a radiation meter and individual dosimeters.
For protection every second of each hour of every day. See a Survive All shelter now.
With the looming specter of television on hand, a lot of changes happened in radio. And one of the big changes was the rise of the game show or the quiz show. And, of course, that is part of the reason why Fred Allen always said he left radio, was because it wasn't about entertainment anymore. It was about giving things away. Witness the show that he did with Jack Benny, King for a Day, that we generally air in May every year, simply because it's such a hilarious show, and the premise is so outrageous and yet accurate. One of those shows that actually wasn't always about the big prizes, although they did give away a huge prize. They originated their show from a small town in New Mexico, which agreed to change its name to Truth or Consequences. And yes, if you've ever wondered about the town Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, that's why it's named that. They agreed to change their name to win a contest on Truth or Consequences. So let's listen to an episode about, and it's the beginning of one of their big contests, The Walking Man. And this episode of Truth or Consequences, starring Ralph Edwards, who was a big game show producer over the years, was originally broadcast 77 years ago, January 17th, 1948.
Ding-ding, ding-ding. Put those in your washing machine. Get your clothes out dry and clean. When you does your wash, you'll sing. Ding-ding does everything.
Hello there. We've been waiting for you. It's time to play Truth or Consequences. Yes, Truth or Consequences, the show that does everything on the air, brought to you by Duz, the soap that does everything in your wash. Now, here's that Saturday night picture, the original front parlor cut-up with his new friend, the Walking Man. Well, Truth or Consequences, that way. Greetings, party players. And if Chester A. Riley is listening, ooh, what happened to him? We make our first phone calls for Walking Man winners tonight. Remember, you must be at the phone number given on your entries. But first, a special announcement for the ladies. Wait till I blow the suds off them. There we are. Thank you. Try Duz next wash day, ladies, and Duz cover that right down the wash line. Duz does everything. Hello, how are you? What'd you say?
Fine.
Fine, yes. I thought Harlow wrote that very well for me to read, didn't you think?
He did.
What is your name, sir?
Chinnery.
Sir?
Red Chinnery.
What's that?
Red Chinnery.
Oh, I hadn't noticed it on you there, but it's nice to have you, Mr. Chinnery. Where are you from?
Hawthorne.
Good. Here's the question. Where's Hawthorne?
Southern California.
No, that isn't the question, but I mean, Mrs. Arthur, what is your occupation?
Steel worker.
Oh,
Steel rigger.
Sort of in the same business. Stealing from the... All right. Mrs. Arthur S. Nelson of Des Moines, Iowa. Any family, Mr. Chinnery?
Yes, sir.
How many?
Wife and daughter.
Good. What's the daughter's name?
Phyllis.
What is it that men get from their favorite newsstand and women get from their favorite dress shop? Truth or Consequences? My, if that guy Riley takes after us like he said he was going to do. What is it that men get from their favorite newsstand and women get from their favorite dress shop? The new look. Forget to get a look. All right, well, you haven't told truth, so you must pay the consequence. Wasn't that exciting, Mr. Chinnery?
Terrible.
I got a terrific reaction from you. We're not keeping you up, are we?
Oh, no.
Where is this steel working that you do?
Out in Safeway Scaffold, out in Culver City.
Yeah, well, you're Safeway. You're safe out there. All right. Now, Mr. Chinnery, your consequence is really simple. All we want you to do is put on a tuxedo and pretend you're Ralph Edwards, the master of ceremonies of Truth or Consequences. Want to do that for the next few minutes?
Yes, sir.
Now, this will be a real test because people will try to get you to say your real name. But if you keep up the pretense that you are Ralph Edwards, master of ceremonies of Truth or Consequences, all during your consequence, we'll award you $50 in cash. Now, run off stage and get into your tuxedo. Will you do that? Fine. Al Pasco will take you up. He's a silent man, but he's strong, and he's in there. Remember, no matter what happens, $50 if you pretend to be no one else but Me, Ralph Edwards. There he goes. Gone? Can't hear? Ooh, what's going to happen to him? A few minutes ago, if you were listening to NBC, and I hope you were, I hope you're listening every Saturday night, you heard me heckling Chester A. Riley on the Life of Riley program. He was really burned at me because he lost a chance at $1,000, and then as a consolation prize, I gave him a trip to Vermont. But the trip turned out to be a trip on a trolley car to Vermont Avenue here in Los Angeles. So Riley really was burned. Now, in the past 4 years, William Bendix, who is Riley, has thrown himself so much into the role of Riley, he practically has become Chester A. Riley. So I asked Bill Bendix if he would continue his gripe at me as Riley and come on over here to Truth or Consequences and help us out with our first consequence, the one that Mr. Chinnery is preparing for now. Mr. Chinnery has to pretend he is Ralph Edwards, Master of Ceremonies of Truth or Consequences, or lose his $50. So when Riley storms in here ready to tear Ralph Edwards limb from limb, he'll ask, who is Ralph Edwards, you see? And Mr. Chinnery must say he is, or lose the $50. Of course, he may lose his head, too, because I told Riley to pour it on him, you know, and we may have a few things to help Riley out. You can. So let's get Mr. Chinnery back here in his tuxedo coat and a little dicky shirt we gave him, and then we'll have Bill Bendix enter as Riley and go to work. All right. Oh, here we are. Howdy, Johnny Foley. Hey, you really made a fast change. Turn around so I can see you, Mr. Chinnery. How are you now?
Fine.
Let's hear you talk like Ralph Edwards.
This is Ralph Edwards.
Oh, you sound just like him. All right. I could hardly tell the difference if you weren't wearing the tuxedo. All right. Now, your consequence is to pretend you're the Master of Ceremonies, Truth or Consequence, for the next 5 minutes. You'll take my place and give out the questions and the consequences. Now, here are a couple of pies for you to play with and some seltzer water, you know. You'll give it to the people.
Right, sure.
Oh, sure. We'll set the pies there and the seltzer water. Just give any consequence you want. Are you willing?
I'm willing.
All right, bring in our next contestant, please. Uh-oh, here comes your first test case. Mr. Chinnery, I think his name is Riley.
Just tell me what it is. I dare him to face my face.
Now, excuse me, sir. What is your name?
My name is Chester A. Riley.
Who are you looking for?
I am looking for that wise Alec who calls himself Ralph Edwards. The grocer who sent me to Vermont, the street, instead of Vermont, the country. Give me that seltzer water. Who is Ralph Edwards?
Now, wait, just about Riley. Don't get excited, please. Now, I can stop this. It'll cost you $50. Now, Mr. your name is what?
Ralph Edwards.
Ralph Edwards. Well, Riley, that Ralph Edwards is a hot one, huh?
Here you are, squirt. Make fun of a Riley, will you? Take that. Hey, Ralph Edwards.
Please, Riley, hold it. Well, getting a little your own medicine, huh?
Sure. Well, what you did, Edwards, I boiled.
Well, never mind.
Disgraced me in front of my family. Lowered me in the eyes of Digger Odell. There's a pie. Give me that pie.
Wait, the pie this time. You surrender?
Oh, I'm still Ralph Edwards. Big pie face. Ralph Edwards.
Okay, you win your $50. And now, Riley, no, not the other pie. No. Now, listen, Riley, don't get so wrapped up in your part. Remember, I'm Edwards.
Oh, you're Edwards, yeah? Well, tell that dopey brother of yours, Ralph, to lay off, or I'll hit him with another pie like this.
Not me, Riley.
On we devils!
Holy smokes! What a revolt to development this week! What a revolt! There's that guy Bendix. Oh, he really lives a part of Riley. Get my other coat, will you? He even used Prel for meringue, that guy. Well, there's plenty of water and towels there for you there, Mr. Chinnery. As for myself, throw in the towel, boys. It's all over my face. You really held out, Mr. Chinnery. What is your name?
Chinnery.
Well, now it is. Okay, you get the $50, and if I run into Chester A. Riley when I get off the show, Digger Odell's going to have another customer. I can tell you that. Thanks a lot, Chinnery. Our first phone call in a minute. Say, Pipe, did any splatter on your old mouth? Oh, Harlow, I didn't see you.
Yeah, hey, Ralph, I
couldn't see you with the meringue in my
what you
tooth.
mean. Yeah. Well, look, this seems to be the season for guessing who's who, so I've worked out some clues for you to guess.
Harlow, don't tell me you're making with the mystery clues, too.
Oh, I just want to test you out. See if you can guess who this is.
Okay, ready, boy.
All right. 4th for white, 21st for red and blue, 26th for dirt, everything for you.
Who is it?
It's Doug.
Oh, no!
Yes.
Oh, that is okay. I knew it would be.
You see, the 4th letter in the alphabet is G, the 21st is U,
And the 26th
is the meringue dripping.
Right. Put them together and you've got Does. The soap that does everything in a family wash. White stands for towels and linen. Red and blue for pretty colors. And dirt means greasy, grimy work clothes.
Very good, Harlow.
Very good. It's amazing all Does does. Just a short washer run gets those tough pieces shining clean. White things gloriously white.
Don't forget your red and blue, you.
Ah, that's the wonder of Does. It's actually safer for the gayest, smartest colors you wash. Safer than any other leading package soap sold for wash day. Ounce for ounce, Does makes more suds, too. Real soap suds. It's no mystery why Does is so popular. From the roughest and toughest to the whitest and brightest, Does does everything.
Does what? The meringue is dripping all through it.
Well, you were never more beautiful.
I couldn't tell whether it was Does, Suds, or meringue. But, all right, it's all off. Now, stand by, America. We're going to make the first call in our Walking Man contest. It might be you we're calling. This is the person who is selected by the judges as having written the best entry on the subject. We should all support the American Heart Association because if this person correctly identifies the Walking Man, he or she receives a giant jackpot of prizes. Here we go. Hello, operator. Operator, get me Los Angeles, California, please. This is a coincidence. In the other contest, the first one is in Hollywood. Tonight, the first one is in Los Angeles. If this person cannot identify the Walking Man, we'll make a second call to the person who wrote the second best entry in a few minutes. Hello, Los Angeles operator. Yes, our NBC operator will give you a number to call in Los Angeles. Will you ring it, please? Oh, brother, wouldn't it be something if the name was hit right on the button the very first thing? There's a list of prizes that really reaches the sky almost already. I'll read them to you in a minute. Listen. Hello? Hello? Hello, is this R.E. Montague? Do you pronounce it? R.E. Montague of 735 South St. Andrews Place, Los Angeles, California. This is Ralph Edwards, Mr. Montague. How are you? Truth or consequences. Now, Mr. Montague, congratulations on your fine entry statement on why we should all support the American Heart Association. The judges selected your entry as number one for this week's call, so you get an opportunity to identify the Walking Man. Are you ready? You think you are. Brother, I wish I was as ready as you are. This scares me to death. This may be guessed right off. All right. And you're allowed only one answer. Tell us who you think is the Walking Man. You say Harry S. Truman, the President of the United States. You say President Truman. I'm sorry, Mr. Montague. President Truman is wrong. He is not the Walking Man, I mean, but thanks for your statement and contribution to the American Heart Association. You have helped fight man's worst killer, heart disease. Try again next week, will you? Send in as many entries as you choose, and we're sending you a 48-piece set of fine art sterling silver as a gift. Are you married? Well, it'll come in handy, won't it? Good night, sir, and thank you very much. Good night. In a moment, another call to another winner. I hope it'll be your number called. And if the Walking Man isn't identified tonight, I hope you all get in next week's contest immediately. More about that later. Hello, what is your name?
Gertrude Penn.
Gertrude Penn. P-E-N-N.
Right.
Is it Miss or Mrs.? Do I say Miss Penn?
No, Mrs.
How are you, Mrs. Penn?
Just fine, thank you.
What is your occupation?
I do maid work at the townhouse.
You're a maid
at the townhouse.
At the Townhouse
Yes.
Hotel here in Los Angeles? Where is that? Over on Wilshire?
On Wilshire, on Commonwealth.
Have you had any interesting experiences over there? How long have you been a maid?
How long?
How long have you been a maid in a hotel?
18 years. I'm on my 18th year there.
At the townhouse?
At the same place, yeah.
Well, bless your heart. I bet they're proud of you. Who are the neatest guests, men or women?
Oh, very varied.
Yes, I don't blame you for not sticking your neck out. I can see why you've been there 18 years. All right. All right. Do you have any family?
Yes, I have a son and 4 grandchildren.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Here's your question, Mrs. Penn. A very charming little lady, isn't she? Your question, Mrs. W.H. Fitting of La Crosse, Wisconsin. Want you to name 5... Can you hear from there all right?
Yes, I don't hear
We're getting very... Oh, all right, sorry. Name 5 ways of communicating without talking orally. Name 5 ways of communicating without talking orally, Miss Penn.
Telephone?
Yes. Well, of course you'd have to talk. Telegram, that's good. That's good. You have all sorts of time. You got 20 seconds. 18 have gone by. 1920. You don't want to get it anyhow. It's more fun if you miss. Hey, Miss Penn? Sure, why not, huh? Writing, wireless, semaphore signals, flag signals, smoke signals. You haven't told the truth, so you must pay the consequences. Oh, my. Your consequence. Come in a little closer to the microphone so I can hear you. Thank you, Miss Penn. Pardon me?
What are the consequences?
I'm going to tell him now. It's this. Your consequence is to call the room clerk at that very swanky hotel you work for, the Townhouse on Wilshire here in Los Angeles. And don't tell him you work there, you see. Tell him you are, better say, Mrs. What's your first name?
Penn.
Say Mrs. G. Penn.
Yes.
And you write underwater. And try to make him believe you have a reservation
Yes.
You see, he probably won't recognize your name. All right, string him along. He probably won't know you anyhow, will you? The maids, do they ever get? They don't get to know the room.
No, I don't
All right. Tell him you're arriving in an hour, and you expect the finest suite in the house, a beautiful dinner, fancy desserts, flowers in the room, and everything. Will you do that? Huh? Don't worry, we won't get you in trouble. You see, we'll keep the name secret. Now, just give him a big line. All right, here. The room clerk at the townhouse is on the phone now. Give me your earphone, too, so I can hear. Just say hello and give him the business. Right into this microphone here so I can hear, too.
Hello, this is Mrs. Gertrude Penn.
Better say G.
Mrs. G. Penn.
Yes.
I'd like to make a reservation. I want a very nice suite.
When did you want your...
Oh, look, about 4 now, party.
Oh, but no... When'd you, he says, when did you want it?
Tonight.
Huh?
About...
Mrs. Payne, he says? No, Penn.
Penn.
Penn, yes.
P-E-N-N.
Tell him you want flowers, you want the whole works, caviar.
White or simple?
Sure, go ahead, don't worry. Tell him I want flowers.
That'd be all right, that'd be ready for me.
Yeah, tell him you want the works, you want a beautiful bed and...
All right.
Tell him you want flowers in the room.
I'll be there about...
Tell him flowers, you want flowers.
I want flowers.
Yes.
Have the room fitted nicely. And,
he'll have everything ready for you.
Thank you.
He said he hopes that you'll enjoy your week's vacation at the townhouse. Is that what he said?
Yes.
Well, and he's not kidding. Hang up a second. You have a beautiful suite waiting for you at the townhouse. One of those suites you clean every day. But this time you go in as a guest for a week. All expenses paid, food and everything. How about that, Miss Penn? Come in. Will you have breakfast in bed in the morning?
Sure.
Every morning. How late will you sleep? Yes. Will you eat in the zebra room or have room service?
Oh, I'll have room service.
Well, you don't have to eat the zebra. You can go on now. Well, here's a lovely dress in case you want to put on the dog. Saks Fifth Avenue. We'll fit it to you Monday, so you know you'll be smartly dressed, huh? Is that right?
Well, that will be wonderful.
Here's expense money in case you feel like stepping out of your luxurious surroundings for a while. The wonderful service of the townhouse is yours, free, hairdressing, everything. And we'll pay the salary of another maid to take your place, okay?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Here's a new robe, nightgown, and everything you need. You can call the family up. Have fun, will you? Okay, sweet dreams, pleasant hours. Good night, good night, good night. Are you happy about this? Just think, you can watch the other maids come in and clean your room, huh?
Grand?
Yes. Say, here's something to pass on to the maid who's taking your place. This big red box that does. There's never been a soap quite like it before. Has there, Harlow?
No, that
sure. How do you do? All right. Thank you, Mrs. Penn. Bless your heart. Now, hand me the phone, please. Here we go. Here we go with the second call to the person who wrote the second best entry for tonight's Walking Man contest. Operator, please get me. Now, hang on to your hats, folks. Hang on to your hats. Los Angeles, California again. The judges do not see the names or addresses of the entry, so picking the same city twice is a coincidence. If this person cannot correctly identify the walking man, we'll make a third call in a few minutes. Hello? Los Angeles. Yes, our NBC operator will give you a number to call in Los Angeles. Would you ring it, please? Yes. We'll make a third call in a few minutes, in case this person doesn't know. To the person who wrote the third best entry on the subject, we should all support the American Heart Association because, and folks, you do have hearts. Thank you so much for the wonderful return. Hello? Hello? Is this Mrs. Rudy Markle of 5006 Hartwick Street, Los Angeles, California? Mrs. Markle, how are you? You're fine but shaky. I'm gravel girl. No, this is Ralph Edwards of Truth or Consequences. Your entry on why we should support the American Heart Association was the second best entry for tonight. So here's your chance to identify the walking man and win the giant jackpot. Are you ready? All right, and you can give only one answer. Tell us who you think is the walking man. Now, you know already, before you say, you know already it is not President Truman, do you not? All right, tell us who you think is the walking man. You say Louis B. Mayer. You say Louis B. Mayer. I'm sorry, Mrs. Markle. Louis B. Mayer is wrong. The walking man is somebody else. Thank you for your splendid entry and contribution to the American Heart Association. As a gift to you, Mrs. Rudy Markle of 5006 Hartwick Street, Los Angeles, we are sending you a beautiful 48-piece set of fine art sterling silver. Thank you. Keep trying. Good night. Good night. One more call tonight. Maybe the winner. Not more clues from the Walking Man headquarters. Who is the Walking Man? Now does nominate this week's dishpan dozer. She's Mrs. Rosella Washington, 1307 Derby Street, Berkeley, California.
Duz is doing double duty on Derby Street, doing everything in the dishpan, too, from whizzing through the greasy pans to taking beautiful care of hams. And Duz does it, folks. Why, hands can actually look prettier, smoother, changing to does from those strong granulated soaps. Ounce for ounce does makes more suds, too. Real soap suds that stand up till the last dish is done. Start doesing your dishes. Does everything.
Okie dozy, Harlow, okie dozy. And now, here it is, that third phone call tonight. Who is the walking man? If this person knows, he or she walks off with a giant jackpot of prizes. If not, I'll give you more clues and the rules so you can all get in next week's contest. Hand me the phone, please. Here we go. Hello, operator. Operator, get me Fort Madison, Iowa, please. Oh, Iowa. This is the person who wrote the third best entry for tonight in the opinion of the judges. By the way, we want to thank the 3 finalist judges who are unselfishly giving their time and most sincere thoughts in this contest in which you listeners are helping to lessen that terrible toll of 1 death every minute in the United States because of heart disease. Hello, how are we doing with Fort Madison? So far, we don't have the call all the way into Fort Madison. Hello, Fort Madison, Iowa. Fort Madison, our NBC operator, Billy Clevenger, will give you a number to call in Fort Madison. Will you ring it, please? Fort Madison, Iowa, that reminds me, Truth or Consequences will be in Davenport, Iowa, from February 13th to 19th. We're going to broadcast there. Man, we'll see you in Davenport. Hello? Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Edwards. You're really excited, brother, about it. Tell me, what's that? You certainly are excited. Is this Mr. Henry Rippenkroger? Mr. Henry Rippenkroger of 1524 Avenue D, Fort Madison, Iowa. This is Ralph Edwards, Truth or Consequences. All right, well, here's the big moment. In Iowa, you may get it, and you can give only one answer. Tell us who you think is the walking man. My selection for the walking man is J. Edgar Hoover. You say J. Edgar Hoover, Mr. Henry Rippenkroger. I'm sorry, Mr. Henry Rippenkroger. J. Edgar Hoover is wrong, but thank you for your support of the American Heart Association. We're sending you a 48-piece set of fine art sterling silver and hope you'll get in next week's contest immediately, will you? Thank you, sir. Maybe we'll see you in Iowa. Good night, sir. You're a swell sounding guy. There he is. Oh, and night. There he is again. There he is again. The walking man. You know how he walks. If you know who this man is, and if you're called upon to identify him, you'll win the giant jackpot of prizes. This week, the giant jackpot amounts to a Bendix home laundry consisting of washer, dryer, and automatic ironer, a $1,000 diamond and ruby Bulova watch, a brand new 4-door Cadillac sedan, a 16-millimeter motion picture sound projector and screen with a print of the Hal Wallace production I Walk Alone, plus delivery of the motion picture of the month for 1 whole year, and a 2-week vacation for 2 from any place in the United States to Union Pacific, Sun Valley, Idaho. All expenses paid. To this, Truth or Consequences is adding this week a $1,000 J.R. Wood & Sons art-carved diamond ring, an Electrolux vacuum cleaner with all attachments, and a 1948 RCA Victor Console FM and AM radio phonograph combination and television set, all in one cabinet. Now, listen to the clues and get in the contest. Quiet, the walking man. Ding, bong, bell. It's 10, and only one can tell. The master of the metropolis fits his name quite well. Now, don't let it scare you. I'll give it to you again in a minute. The walking man. Who is it? If you think you know the person whose actual walk you hear each week on Truth or Consequences, and whose walk you probably have seen at some time, follow the rules I'm now going to give you. Make yourself eligible for the giant jackpot of prizes. If the walking man is not identified next week, Truth or Consequences will add 3 more fabulous prizes, and the next week will bring a new contest. In our walking man contest, Truth or Consequences is supporting another great cause, a fight to help lick America's #1 killer, heart disease. This contest will be your opportunity to support the American Heart Association. Be generous. Give your dollars or whatever your contributions from the heart for all heart victims. Now, here are the rules. Finish this sentence in 25 additional words or less. We should all support the American Heart Association because. Enclose a contribution, if you please, for the American Heart Association. Eligibility for participation in the contest is not contingent upon your contribution.
Mail to The Walking Man, Hollywood, California. That's the address. The Walking Man, Hollywood, California. And make sure your name, address, and telephone number are printed plainly on the upper right-hand corner of the paper on which the entry is written. Do not include the name of the person you believe to be the Walking Man in your entry.
The American Heart Association has selected 3 prominent citizens to act as final judges. They will select the first, second, and third best entries from the best entries chosen by the charity judging staff. Now, these entrants must answer their telephone when we call during our Eastern broadcast.
Entries will be judged for sincerity, originality, and aptness of thought. Judge's decision will be final. All entries and ideas therein become the property of Truth or Consequences. Contributions become the property of the American Heart Association, and none will be returned. Any resident of the United States may compete except employees of Truth or Consequences, NBC, Procter & Gamble, their advertising agencies, and their families. Entries received by next Monday will be entered in next week's contest. Then, at the time of our Eastern broadcast, that is 8:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Central Time, 6:30 Mountain Time, and 5:30 Pacific Time, we will call the writers of the first, second, and third best entries in that order, unless, of course, the Walking Man is identified earlier on the program by one of these entrants. Remember, these entrants must answer their telephones at the number appearing on their entries at the time of our Eastern broadcast.
Thank you, Harlow. Enter as often as you please. However, only one entry to an envelope, and thanks for making these contributions, paper money as well as coins. Remember to be at your phones next Saturday, January 24th, when we make 3 more phone calls in the Walking Man contest on Truth or Consequences. Who is the Walking Man? Bing bong bell. It's 10, and only one can tell. The master of the metropolis fits his name quite well. Hey, Walking Man, can't you give us a more obvious clue? Walking Man, come here. Come here. Come on back. Please now, Walking Man, give us another clue. Where's your money? Listen. Let me have it tonight. Well, okay, Walking Man, that was a mess of clues. And those are really the steps of the Walking Man, his real footsteps. As I say, folks, don't let it scare you. He's not really a bogeyman. He's the Walking Man. Now, what is your name, please?
This is Mary Lyons.
Hello, Mrs. Lyons.
Uh-huh.
Where are you from?
Originally from Clinton, Indiana.
Where now?
Los Angeles.
Good. You like it out here?
You bet.
Beautiful in Clinton, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What is your principal industry in Clinton?
Oh, just nothing much now. It's
We drive on that out here, too, you know. What is the best way for a girl to keep her youth? Truth or Consequences, Mrs. Lyons of Clinton?
I don't know.
By not introducing him to other girls. Best way to keep your youth going. All right, you haven't told the truth, so you must pay the consequences. Now, Mrs. Lyons, that was a yacht, wasn't it? Mrs. Lyons, we're going to go easy on you. We really are. We aren't going to give you a consequence. We're going to give you a present, a Christmas present that seems to have been overlooked in the regular Christmas giving. Okay?
Well.
All right, here it is. Here it is. Come right in here. Isn't it a beautiful box?
Oh, what's that?
Are you anxious to open it?
Oh, yes.
Well, wait a minute. What's the sign on the other side? Oh, for goodness sakes. What'd you say?
Oh, do not open until Christmas.
Oh, well, don't you think the sign means what it says?
I guess so.
Oh, I do. We must abide by the signs, you know. Sure. It says don't open until Christmas, so you take this home with you, put it on the shelf where you can look at it once in a while, but don't open it until Christmas, next Christmas, huh?
Oh, I see.
Yes, that's only 11 months and 8 days away. Now, will you do that?
Yes,
As a matter of fact, bring it to Truth or Consequences Saturday night, Christmas 1948. Christmas falls on Saturday this year, and open it so all of us listening can share your surprise, okay?
Fine.
I can hardly wait to hold you over here for $25 savings bond. Good night, Mrs. Lyons. Well, how does you do it? Now, happy go-dudgeon singers and their merry washing machine. Hello. G-U-Z, G-U-Z.
Good guys in your washing machine.
Work clothes come out oh so clean.
Whitening, whitening, coloring bright.
G-U-Z does everything. From the roughest and the toughest to the whitest and the brightest.
No soap bright like does before. Does is different. Does more. When you get your wife, you sing. G-U-Z got everything.
G-U-Z, that was sensational, Kidsy. Oh, and the grand prize winner tonight is... Terrific, Buddy Cole. The gentleman who got the pie in the face, Mr. Chinnery, pretended he was Ralph Edwards, and Bill Bendix, of course, Riley helped out on that. Thanks, Bill Bendix, for being with us tonight. Now, folks, don't forget your $25 savings bond, and today you get more money for used kitchen fats, much more. Everybody save every drop of used fats. It's money for you. This is Ralph Edwards sending you dozens of good washes, and until next week when we make more telephone calls to identify the walking man, good night, everybody! Why has Hollywood star Ida Lupino switched to new improved Dream shampoo? Because compared to Dulling soap shampoos, this wonderful new Dream reveals up to 33% more sheen. Follow Ida's secret for shining hair.
It's new Dream for Hollywood Dream. Improved Dream for Hollywood Dream. Your hair can have that Hollywood sheen. The very first time you use new Dream, that wonderful new Dream shampoo. New Dream.
Yes, this is Harlow Wilcox. Speaking for Procter & Gamble, makers of drugs. Right here with Sugar Concentrate. King to you. Now, my boy, look.
If you don't know who the walking man was, we'll tell you here in a moment. And I'm going to see if I can find the program. That wasn't a particularly great quality program, but it was the first actual time where people were guessing who the walking man was. They had earlier, back before the first of the year, back in 1947, they had a contest called Miss Hush. And professional dancer Martha Graham was a voice heard weekly on the programs, and it stumped radio listeners for weeks, and they gave away big stuff. And so they did a wonderful Christmas show where they had a broadcast from the Long Beach Naval Hospital. We've aired it on our Christmas show, and I may try to find it again to air this coming year if I do one. But he got to speak to the veteran in the hospital, wounded veteran Hubert Smith, got to hear from his mother, father, fiance, cut-ins from his hometown, all over the place. And it was an amazing, a delightful, a heartwarming show. And that was a delight. But then he also announced a new contest to be explained in detail, and you heard footsteps of a man walking as you did during that. Ralph Edwards asking the audience, who is the walking man? And they kept doing this over and over. And of course, they were raising money for charity in this as well. So they raised a lot of money for charity. But they also raised a lot of ratings along the way. And they finally gave the details of the contest on the January 3rd show, telling people what they would have to do. And they gave the first clue, Bing Bong Bell. It's 10 and only one can tell. Master of the Metropolis fits his name well. He was described as a well-known American male, and that's where they would go. Apparently, almost 10% of the contestants didn't submit their letters as instructed. Some didn't include a phone number. Now, if you don't do that, how are they going to call you and try to get your thing? Others didn't put their mailing address on the envelope or the letter. So they started calling during this week's show, as you heard, and prizes to be awarded to the winner included a Bendix Home Laundry, a washer, dryer, and an automatic ironer, a $1,000 diamond, and a ruby wristwatch, and a 4-door Cadillac car. They added prizes to the pot, and as it went, they added a Tappan kitchen range, a 16-millimeter sound projector and screen with a complete reel for the picture. And then you heard, you heard the clues, the sounds of a horse, the howling of wind, rushing of water, and growling noises of cats and dogs. Added to the pot was a vacuum cleaner with attachments, 1948 console, FM and AM phonograph, combination TV, $1,000 diamond ring. And you heard the Bill Bendix. On the earlier Life of Riley show, you heard explained by that, right? That's why he was on the show. And then they asked more contestants. They added to the pot a refrigerator, Venetian blinds for every room in the house, a Sherwin-Williams paint job inside and out for the entire house. Clues included the sounds of a horse cantering. And then you had 2 incorrect calls on the broadcast of the 31st. And here's what they added to the next one. You're going to love this. A complete wardrobe of women's clothes for every season in the year, a home freezer filled with frozen food, an airplane made in Dallas. And let's see, they went on with that. And then more calls on February 7th. And they added a trailer coach, furniture, tile for the kitchen and living room. And it kept going on, and they added prizes, and it kept causing problems for a celebrity in his household. Because he was there live each and every week, walking off screen where people couldn't see him. Because they had to do it right. So there you go. Listen to the squeak of his shoes. Doesn't the squeak tell you anything? And the third clue provided Bing Bong Bell. When do bells ring Bing Bong Bell? A fiddler plays the scales during the delivery of the rhyme. And finally, on March 6, 1948, Florence Hubbard, a widow of 40 North Waller Avenue in Chicago, a dress checker in the Carson Peary Scott department store, commonly referred to as Carson's, identified the walking man as Jack Benny. They earned over they raised $1.5 million for the American Heart Association for the Walking Man contest. Now, let us be honest here. And let me pull up while I'm talking here. My favorite website for checking this stuff is a site called In 2013 Dollars. And in 1948 dollars, $1.5 million would be raising over $19 million today. And that raised a lot of hackles. It really did. But this is where it gets even more interesting. In a column written by Ed Sullivan, May 30th, 1948, in his little old New York column, he said, on the third Saturday night on which he came home late, Mary Benny said to her husband, Jack, I'm getting fed up with this every week. What's the alibi this time? She looked at him with the curious glint in her eye and said, I haven't any alibi, doll. He had pledged not to tell even his wife that he had been picked as the walking man. Each Saturday at 5:30, he had to drive into the Hollywood Hills to a house occupied by a semi-hermit where they recorded the clues that had the country going daffy. As a result, he was late for dinner each Saturday night, and he was rapidly getting himself into a peck of trouble with the irate mistress. The only tension that ever existed in the Jack Benny home developed during the weeks leading up to the final announcement that Benny was it. The tension started easing about 2 weeks ahead of the formal revelation. At that time in Los Angeles, enterprising hawkers were peddling handbills in the street, price $1, giving a regular racing sheet rundown of the possibilities. Mary bought one of them, saw that Jack was high on the list of probabilities. From then on, whenever he came home late Saturday nights, she just looked at him coldly, but stopped bawling him out. When it was all over, he said, "Thanks, doll, for trusting me." A big stunt that raised a lot of money for the Heart Fund and caused a lot of grief in the Benny household. Ralph Edwards' Truth or Consequences. During its 10-season run, on Saturday nights at 8:30, it never left the night's top 10, finishing first 5 times in its show's peak 1947 to 48. 22% of radios that were on were listening to Ralph Edwards and Truth or Consequences. Ironically, they tied in the 1947-48 season with Fred Allen. Edwards was Allen's announcer at CBS before he created Truth or Consequences. 77 years ago, January 17, 1948, Truth or Consequences, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Everyone in the United States should know his community's public action signals and what they mean. There are 2 signals. The alert signal is a steady blast of 3 to 5 minutes. It means attack is probable. Take action as directed by your local authorities. Tune your radio to the Conelrad frequency of 640 or 1240 for official instructions and information. The take cover signal is a wavering tone or short blast for 3 minutes. It means attack is imminent. Take cover in the best available shelter. Be prepared. Know these signals and what they mean.
And now for something completely different. Another audience participation show, this one comedic in nature, hosted by Robert Q. Lewis. For those of you who might say, who? Yeah, Robert Q. Lewis. And if you've seen game shows of the 50s, What's My Line? He was on What's My Line a number of times. He hosted a number of game shows. He hosted Play Your Hunch, Get the Message on ABC, the original short-lived version of Make Me Laugh. He was all over. And he was a funny man, very, very quick-witted, and sharp-tongued, and a delightful man. Robert Q. Lewis. And by the way, your assignment for listening to the show is, what does the Q stand for? We'll tell you a little later, but we'll figure it all out. Alrighty, from 67 years ago, January 17, 1938, an Armed Forces recording of the CBS Robert Q. Lewis show.
Brought to you every Monday through Friday at this time, featuring Judy Johnson, Richard Hayes, Ray Block and the Orchestra, yours truly, Levi, and tonight's special guests, Boris McMichael and John Gibson. And here's your host, Robert Q.
Thank you very much. Welcome to our show. There are 2 very nice... What are you peeking for? There are 2 very nice young people up here. They have been having a very educational period here. Tell me your name, please.
Gordon. John S. Gordon.
John S. Gordon. Where are you from, John?
New York.
What do you do, John?
I'm in the Air Force.
You're in the Air Force? You are defending me? You know, John, I'm sure you're very fine. What is your rating, your rank?
Second.
I beg your pardon?
I'm second.
You're a second airman. Well, someday you'll be a first airman, and then you'll really fly. John, are you married?
No.
But I noticed you were interested in this lady over here. Huh?
No.
No? He's not real. That's why he's second, do you think? What prize do we have for John here? Whatever your name is. You're Andre...
Castellanos.
Yes, of course you are. What prize do we have, Miss Castellanos?
Lily Pons. So we have this box of chocolates. Very fun.
There you are, John. I hope you'll munch on those. It's better than that stuff you get in the Air Force. But now you, my dear, you, my pretty, you luscious thing, are you... Uh-oh, what's that? Mm-hmm. You what? What do you mean? What do you mean, uh-huh? I really like a girl like that. You pay her a lovely compliment, she does, What's that?
Thank you.
For what?
For the compliment.
Not at all. Would you like some more? What? Have I told you yet that you're beautiful?
Not yet.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
And you're from where?
Roanoke, Virginia.
And you're single, of course?
No?
Have I told you you're not so beautiful? Especially if your husband's here. Is he here?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, I don't find her attractive at all. What is your name?
Barbara Williams.
Barbara, what are you doing in New York?
Vacationing.
Having a good time?
Wonderful.
Good. Where's Mr. Williams? Whoops, there he is. Oh, he's close, isn't he? It's been nice talking to you, Barbara. What prize do we have for Barbara?
We have a crystal decanter of my fabulous French fragrance.
There you are, Barbara.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. This is a wonderful feeling for people in our business. They plug along, try to get some kind of a break, and all of a sudden it happens. This is just a case of a young man called Bob Crew. Bob, let's have a song out of you. Are you game?
Well, I'd love to do a real old favorite of mine.
Come on, what is it?
Sing You Sinners.
Yeah, we got him here tonight. Go on, sing to him.
Brothers and sisters, my sermon today. Sing all your troubles away. Brothers and sisters, don't you delay. Sing all your troubles away. Away. You sinners, drop everything. Let that harmony ring. Up to heaven and sing. Sing, you sinners. Wave your arms all about. Let the Lord hear you shout. Let that music run out. Sing, you sinners. Whenever there's music, the devil kicks. He don't allow music by the river Styx. You're wicked and you're prey, and you all misbehave. If you want to be saved, sing, you sinners. Whenever there's music, that devil kicks. 'Cause he don't allow no music by the river Styx. You're wicked and you're brave, and you all misbehave. And if you want to be saved, sing, 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 you
Bob Crew. Very good, Bob. Thank you very much. Come back and visit us soon again. Good luck on the new Carl record. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've all anxiously been awaiting this next feature of our program, one in which we try to delve into the minds of various people visiting with us here in the studio, as we do from week to week on the broadcast. So once again, oh, I'm not well. Our public service feature. The People Speak. The People Speak, a democratic forum dedicated to vital issues of the day in the true tradition of Washington, Jefferson, and Lincoln. Our question this evening is, where did we get this new music? But let's change that question and ask... Oh, you don't watch for the cuts in the ad-libs, do you, Ray? Our question is, do you think June is the most romantic month for marriage? Now, grasping my portable microphone firmly in my portable hand, let us walk into our portable studio audience and let the people speak for themselves. Oh, here in the first aisle. You, sir, you with the sealskin spats. Those lovely bell-bottom gym bloomers. Yes, you, sir. Would you please tell us who you are?
Monsieur, with the greatest pizza pie. My name is Barry Fitzgerald.
Your name is Barry Fitzgerald?
That's my stage name. My real name is Carlo Vino, and back in Italy, I'm a very extinguished actor. You remember the screwball in the Macbeth?
Why, yes.
I was the meatball in A Way of All Flesh. I'm a very versatile paisan.
Yes, I'm sure you are. That's a nice show, too, Paisan to Paisan. Ed Morrow, do you know that one? Mr. Vino, I'm sure you're a most talented performer.
Oh, you bet you bottom quesadilla. Right now, I'm trying to get on a high-class dramatic show like Ominous. Oh, boy.
You was right the first time. I'm in a bus.
That was a very funny joke.
Yeah.
And I want to be in a love scene with somebody like the great actress Tallulah Banknight.
Bingo. You should have read it the right. All right.
My favorite role is Camille's lover, Hershey.
Oh, now, just a moment, Mr. Vino. I don't like to interject myself at a time like this and embarrass you in front of all these people, but may I point out, sir, that Camille's lover was not named Hershey. Camille's lover is Armand.
You got him, kid. Armand the Hershey.
Oh, no.
Ain't that the nuts?
That's the nut, yes.
I'm going to make a hot stuff a lover boy, Goomba. Right now, I'm in love with Angelina Lollapalooza. I kiss the ground that she walks on.
Now, just a moment, sir. You are exaggerating. You kiss the ground she walks on.
Why not? It's better than kissing her.
May I take it that Angelina is not attractive?
Well, she's got what do you call a UN face.
A UN face?
It's all there, but it just can't seem to get together.
UN face. I like a little applause for that one. We worked very hard on that. All right, and I take it, sir, I take it you're not thinking of getting married.
Married? What do you think I am, a yo-yo?
Yes. No, frankly, I don't think marriage is bad. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of marrying myself.
I beg your Parmesan, Walio. What's the last thing you just say?
I'm sorry, I'm perhaps not speaking plainly enough. I said I'm thinking of marrying myself.
Wouldn't you be better off marrying a woman?
No. Look, I'll give it some thought. Meanwhile, Senor, would you give some thought to our question tonight? Tell me, do you think June is the most romantic month for marriage?
Ma shoo! Once I almost get married in June while I was a semaphore at the Roberto Rossellini University.
You were a semaphore? My gracious, how not?
That's right.
Yeah.
A Goomba of mine fixed me up with a blind date. It was a June. And suddenly I think maybe I married the Signorina. He told me she was a combination of a Grace Kelly, Anita Ekberg, and a Gina Lollobrigida, all rolled into one.
Well, tell me, was she a combination of Grace Kelly, Anita Ekberg, and Gina Lollobrigida all rolled into one?
Yeah, she weighed 340 pounds.
Thank you, Carlo Vino. Oh, let me wander around here. Let me see, we must have someone else. Oh, here's a lovely lady. You, my dear, you with the laminated Levi's, the open-toed paratrooper boots, and that lovely low-cut rubber apron. I wonder, you do look lovely tonight. May we have your name, please?
I'm Madame Zenobia Poncel, the famous opera singer. And may I say, I've appeared with some of the funniest comedians in radio. Bob Hope, Jack Benny, Red Skelton.
Robert Q. Lewis.
Don't change the subject.
Never mind. Madame Poncel, we are delighted to have you here. We know you by reputation. My gracious, you were at the Metropolitan for so many years. Cavalleria Rusticana, Rigoletto, Il Trovatore, La Forza del Destino.
Young man, you keep cursing me in Italian. I'll give you a belt in the bridgework.
You don't understand. Oh, well, never mind. Madame, I know a great number of singers spend a lot of time abroad. Can you tell us something about your background?
Well, I spent 4 years in Italy.
4 years in Italy?
Came back a master sergeant.
I don't think you're following me, and may I say I'm glad. No, what I trying to find out, madame, is how came back how did you first get interested in music?
Well, on my 16th birthday, my father put a Caruso record in my bustle.
Just a minute, he put a Caruso record in your bustle?
Oh, he wanted to have me a musical background.
Oh, it's a grand night for singing. Well, good old Dad. When did you make your debut?
At 18, I made my debut. I was a beautiful girl. I looked just like Jane Mansfield. Oh, here's a picture of me. I certainly was ship-shape.
I should say, I wouldn't mind being that destroyer's escort. Oh, Madame Ponsell. Well, now, what was the most exciting night in your fantastic career?
Well, let me see. It was 5 years ago, opening night at the Met. I'd studied for months with the world-famous voice coach, Vachamara Mozzarella.
Oh, yes, Jackie Gleason's teacher.
Oh, he's that fat fellow, isn't he?
That's the one.
Well, anyway, there it was, the big Metropolitan Opera House premiere performance, The Barber of Seville. And as I rushed out for the opening scene, my girdle accidentally got caught on a nail backstage.
Oh, my gracious, what happened?
Well, I sang the first 2 choruses from the balcony. Well, I didn't stop bouncing until the end of the second act.
Yes, I do. Who can forget that unforgettable evening? My gracious, you were well known for your zing. Well, now, Madame Ponsell, may we get to our question of a bustle in the back, Master Sergeant. May we get to our question of the evening? Do you feel that June is the most romantic month for marriage?
Well, to me, the month isn't important. It's the man.
I see. And what is the first thing you look for in a man?
Appearance.
Appearance?
Yes, and the sooner the better.
Yes. Thank you, Zenobia Ponsell. I think we have time for one more. What are the odds? Now, let me see. Oh, here's a fella. What a bruiser. A real He-Man's He-Man. Gee, excuse me, sir. I don't like to, butt in like. But anyone ever tell you that you're more massive than John Wayne, more muscular than Burt Lancaster, more rugged-looking than Rocky Marciano?
How about that?
Yeah. I wonder, would you tell us who you are, sir?
My name is Two-Gun Winkle. I'm a gangster. May I sit down? I feel pooped.
You do look a little bit peaked.
On the way to the studio tonight, I bent over and picked up a lady's handkerchief. I think I strained myself.
Just a moment, sir. I mean, a lady's handkerchief. That isn't heavy.
Well, this one had a monogram on it.
But still.
3 initials.
3 initials. You poor man. Open your shirt. Unloosen your tie. It is so warm in here. May I open a window, sir? Does this hot air bother you?
No, go right on talking.
I'll forget that. Look, Two-Gun, just a moment or so ago, sir, you mentioned the fact that you were a gangster. Tell me, are you a real rough, tough hoodlum?
Oh, yes, indeedy. But I don't really enjoy robbing and shooting people.
Well, then why do you do it?
Well, it keeps me out of mischief. That's why, silly.
Yes, I understand. One thing I'd like to ask, looking at you, Two-Gun, do you really carry 2 guns?
Those bulges on my hip weren't put there by Schraff's Malteds. And Criminelli... Oh, excuse me. I forgot their ladies present.
Well, that's all right. Go right ahead.
Yes, I'm a real desperado. I remember once I drank down 6 double shots of egg cream on the rocks. No chaser.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And feeling no pain, I broke into a warehouse and stole 10,000 hot water bags.
But just a moment. I mean, why on earth, Two-Gun, would you want 10,000 hot water bags?
My feet were cold.
Oh, you are a sly one, Two-Gun. As a matter of fact, almost relish being held up on a dark evening by you, sir. Now the time has come to answer our question of the evening. Tell me, Two-Gun, do you think June is the most romantic month for marriages?
Good gracious, to Ruberosa, yes.
Thank you, Two-Gun Winkle. And there you have heard the people speak. There you go. Now, let's see. Our mail has been piling up again. I'd like to take this time here, moment, if I may, to answer some of the more urgent letters from our fans. Have a letter here from Mrs. Thomas Moore of Tulsa. She says, I always marvel at Lee Vine's wonderful diction. I think he is the perfect announcer. He never seems to get tongue-tied. I'd like to know what words are the toughest for him to say. Well, I know Lee Vines pretty well. I've worked with him for a long time. I guess about the toughest words for him to say are, I'll take the check, waiter. Hope that answers you, Mrs. Moore. I have one here from, let me see. This is from Mrs. Loretta Morgan of Baltimore, who writes, I have always loved listening to your show, and I wonder if you could settle an argument for me. My husband says all those funny things you say on the show are written for you, but I say you ad-lib them. Who's right? Well, as a matter of fact, you are, Mrs. Morgan. I thought the fact that everything I did was ad-lib was perfectly oblivious. Gee, I wish those guys would learn to spell. Raymond, let's get out an old song by Billy Jerome and Jimmy Monaco. It's called Row, 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 Go, Go, Go. Young Johnny Jones, he had a cute little boat, and all the girlies he would take for a float. He had girlies on the shore, I want to learn this, sweet little peaches by the score. But Johnny was a Weisenheimer, you know. His steady girl was Flo. And every Sunday afternoon, she'd jump in his boat and they would spoon. And then he'd row, row, row. Way up the river he would row, row, row. A hug he'd kiss her, then he'd kiss her now and then. She would tell him, teleprompter, he'd fool around, and then they'd kiss again, and then he'd row, row, row. A little further he would row, oh, 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 oh. Then he'd drop both his oars, take a few more encores, and then he'd row, row, row. Right in his boat he had a cute little seat, and every kiss he stole from Flo was so sweet. And he knew just how to row. He was a rowing Romeo. He knew an island where the trees were so grand. He knew just when to land. Then tales of love he'd tell to Flo until it was time for them to go. And then he'd row, row, row. Way up the river he would row, row, row. A hug he'd give her, then he'd kiss her now and then. She would tell him when. He'd fool around and then he'd row, row, row. A little further he would row, oh, 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 oh. Then he'd drop both his oars out of sight of the shore. The boat he'd ignore, he'd take an encore, and then he'd row, row, row. Thank you very much. I'll play, Ray. I love you. That's Ray Block and the cool men of the orchestra with a thing called Leave Us Leave. And incidentally, these boys really know how to keep cool. You take Toots Mondello and all the boys. They spend the afternoon, you see, in the cocktail lounge around Pachari's. It's a little salon they go to, and it works. By the time they come to rehearsal, a couple of them are so cool they're practically stiff. It's really a wonderful way they have of keeping cool. Tootsie, would you like to sing a chorus of When My Baby's...
Remember, Robert Q and his whole gang will be back next week, so don't forget to be around when next it's time for The Robert Q. Lewis Show.
The Robert Q. Lewis Show has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
An Armed Forces recording of his CBS radio program as it was originally broadcast back on January 17th, 1958. He filled in also a lot for Arthur Godfrey, and he impressed Arthur so much that he insisted he was his regular fill-in host when he had to be away and such. Robert Q. Lewis. And by the way, the Q stands for... nothing. In 1942, while he was at WTRY Radio in Troy, New York, he added the middle initial to his Q name, his name accidentally. He was thinking of radio comedian F. Chase Taylor's Colonel Lemuel Q. Stoopnagel. When I signed off, he said, "This is Robert Q. Lewis." And he said he didn't know why. That got lots of good reaction. He retained it, and he called it the luckiest ad lib in the world. It helped people remember him. He said everyone wanted to know what the Q stood for, and it changed from time to time, his own personal favorite being Quackpot. Robert Quackpot Lewis. So there you go. Robert Q. Lewis Show from 1958 here on Classic Radio Theater. We'll go back a lot further than that in a moment, as we'll go back 87 years to an early episode of Fibber McGee and Molly.
You can protect yourself from radioactive fallout after an enemy attack. Our tests have shown that an underground shelter covered by 3 feet of earth offers the best protection. A basement shelter could be made safe by closing off windows, exterior entrances, and banking exposed walls. In homes without basements, first-floor areas with the least exposure, such as bathroom, utility room, or hallway, should be selected. Be prepared. Start building your home shelter today.
Now, more silliness on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Going back 87 years to a January 7th, 1938 broadcast of Fibber McGee and Molly.
When you walk on wax, you save your floors. The Johnson Wax Program presenting Fibber McGee and Company. With Ted Weems beginning the first week of his personal appearance tour at the Fox Theater, Detroit, we welcome tonight Billy Mills and his orchestra, who bow in with Fifi. There's a very good reason why millions of up-to-date housewives are enthusiastic users of Johnson's Glow Coat. They've found that this remarkable no-rubbing polish works like a charm on their linoleum and floors. Apply a little glow coat to a dull, dingy piece of linoleum, and presto, you will have bright, gleaming linoleum without any work of rubbing or buffing. Glow coat protects your floors from wear, shuts out dirt, makes them much easier to clean. If you haven't yet tried this easy-to-use polish on your own kitchen linoleum, order Johnson's self-polishing glow coat tomorrow from your dealer and learn the modern, sensible way to keep your floors clean and bright with practically no work. With the government appealing to big business for cooperation, Fibber, the personification of big business, is determined to do his part by solving the local housing problem. And here in the office of the McGee Real Estate Agency, with his shadow, Silly Watson, we find Fibber Cottage for Sale McGee.
You know, Sil, this is the business for me, real estate. I ever tell you about the time I built that subdivision up in Alaska?
Yes, sir.
I better refresh your memory. And mine, too. Well, sir, I seen they needed better housing up there, so I built 500 bungalows out of ice with a FHA loan of a cool $1 million.
Well, how you pay it back, please?
Oh, it was self-liquidating. Well, I remember... I'll get it, Sil. Probably a big deal. McGee Real Estate Agency, palaces, penthouses, and pup tents. Who? Oh, yes, Mrs. Beagle. What can I do for you? What? You got squirrels in your attic. Have you tried hitting your knee with a hammer? If your foot jumps up, you're probably not... Hello? Hello? Imagine that, Phil. Squirrels in her attic.
Yeah, but there's a hotel down the street full of elks, please, sir, and they ain't complaining none.
I got any appointments today, Sil?
I don't know, Miss McGee, is you?
Oh, Dad-ratted, ain't you my secretary? What does it say on my appointment pad?
Well, it say here, it say sea biscuit in the fold.
Oh, no. Below that.
Yes. But it say go on vegetable diet.
Oh, yes.
Trouble with your health, Miss McGee?
No. Trouble with the butcher. He said... I'll get it, sir. McGee Real Estate Agency. Castles and cabins, shacks and shanties. You betcha, Bud. We can sell you a nice plot on the corner of 14th and Oak. Huh? It's 90 feet deep and 12 feet wide. Well, yes, it is a little narrow, but if your in-laws move in, the plot thickens. Okay, Bud. You know, Sil, it's about time something was done for building and architecture in this burg. It's been at a standstill ever since that woman architect built the town years ago.
What woman architect, Miss McGee?
Oh, you know. You've seen her name on cornerstones all over town.
What?
Annie Dominy, 1888. Annie Dominy, 1899. Great gal, Annie.
Are you the agent?
Oh, you betcha, Frank. And we've got just...
I'm not Frank.
Well, why not? You can always be frank with us, Bud. We hear everybody's troubles. Always willing to lend an ear. Which one you want? You better take the left one. I cut the other one shaving this morning.
And you'll excuse me, I'm looking for a house.
Oh, I know just the thing for you, Bud. Let us build you a modernistic house. You know, all steel and concrete, no doors or windows, ultraviolet lighting, glass walls, air conditioning.
Wait just a moment. No doors or windows. How do I get in or out?
Oh, well, forget that, Bud. When you see the house, you won't want to go in. When you see the neighborhood, you won't want to go out. That's the trouble with people nowadays, Sil. They ain't receptive to new ideas. What?
Are you in charge here?
You betcha, Bud. Just let me know what you want, and I'll try and put you in your place. What's your business?
I'm a band leader.
Oh, a band leader, huh? And you want a house with a little swing on the front porch. You working now? Will you be able to pay your rent?
Oh, sure. In fact, I'm just starting on a new job. My orchestra's playing the Fibber McGee show. You know, Johnson's Wax.
Oh, then you're Billy Mills. Well, Billy, I'm glad to meet you. I'm Fibber McGee.
Well, imagine meeting you here.
Yeah. Very glad to meet you, Billy. And we might as well have an understanding right now. Just remember that on this broadcast, I'm the boss, see? When I suggest a certain number, that's the number you play. Catch on to it? You keep that in mind, and we'll get along all right.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Yeah, now for the next number, you play Little Gray Home in the West. That'll fit in with the program.
Oh, yeah? Well, we're playing Bob White.
You're playing... Oh, I see. That's fine. We'll make the house a birdhouse.
Shall I move right in?
Absolutely. Bang it, Billy. McGee Real Estate Agency. Home, sweet home, McGee speaking. Who? Oh, yes, Mrs. Fidich. What? The house we sold you is haunted. Oh, come, Mrs. Fidich. I think you're just hysterical. Huh? 2 ghosts. 2 ghosts? And you only hear them on Sunday nights? Oh, don't worry about them, Mrs. Fidich. Them are the Shroud twins.
Was the lady satisfied with the explanation, please, sir?
Yeah, she was very happy about the whole thing. By the way, Sil, is that Smith woman still squawking about the bathtub not draining?
Yes, sir. She called up 4 times about it, Miss McGee.
She did, huh? Well, next time she calls, tell her I says to ask her husband to fix it.
Well, could he do it, please, sir?
Why not? He's one of the biggest plungers on Wall Street.
Mr. McGee, will you please raise my rent?
Raise your rent? Why, yes, I'll be glad to, Mr. Henning.
Good. I don't seem to be able to.
Well, I hope that's all the complaints we get today, Sil.
Well, there's just one more, Miss McGee.
Yeah.
That Mrs. Jones, she say her kitchen melodeon is looking awful.
Linoleum, Sil. Well, I'll have it fixed right away. A word to the wise is sufficient.
Yes, and a word to your wives is sufficient, man. When the word is Glow Coat, the easy-to-use floor polish that makes linoleum look like new. And keeps it from... It does. Oh, hiya, Fibber. Hello, Silly.
Hi, Miss Wilcox.
You looking for a house, Harpo?
Well, yes. I need a place to keep my dog in. He pants so hard he keeps me awake.
Oh, well, what you need for him is a little pant house.
A pant house. Oh, what's the use? What's the use?
Oh, dear. Good old Harpo. Trouble with that dog of his is he only breathes through one nostril.
He do?
Sure. He's a half-breed.
Hello there, Sonny. You the real estate man?
You betcha, bud. You want to buy, sell, rent, or sublease?
Eh? What's that?
I says buy or sell.
Yep, all by myself. Want to put my house up for sale. Mighty proud of it, too.
Well, I don't doubt it, old-timer. A man's home is his castle.
Hey?
I says a man's home is his castle.
Oh, you want to wrestle, eh? Okay, watch yourself, sonny.
Oh.
Hey!
Hey! Put it off! Get off of me! What's the idea? Let me out!
Thought I couldn't do it, eh?
I didn't say nothing to the car. Let me out. You take too much for granted.
For what?
Granted.
Tain't granted, it's stucco, but if you ain't interested...
The nerve of that old fossil. Well, that's the way it goes in this business, Sil. Shucks. Did you ever dabble in real estate?
Yes, I did when I was real little.
Make anything out of it?
Yes, sir. Mud pie.
Oh, it's Clark Dennis. Hi, Clark.
Hello, Fibber. Hi, Silly.
Hi, Mr. Dennis, please.
What you want, Clark?
Say, Fibber, do you handle imaginary real estate?
Imaginary real estate? Why, Clark? You got castles in the air?
No, but I got a gold mine in the sky.
A gold mine in the sky. Okay, we'll see how it pans out. Over the hill, Billy.
There's a gold mine in the sky far away. We will find it, you and I, some sweet day. There'll be clover just for you down the line, where the skies are always blue, pal of mine. Take your time, old mule, I know you're growing lame, but you'll pasture in the stars when we strike that flame. And we'll set up there and watch the world roll by. When we find that long-lost gold mine in the sky, far away, far away, we will find that long-lost gold mine some sweet day, and we'll say You know what the real estate business needs in this town, Sil?
Yes, Miss McGee, more slums.
More slums? Where'd you get that idea?
I've been studying all some places. I figure we got more poor folks than we got rich folks, so...
I'm sorry, Sil. I don't think you understand the problem. I mind the time I was working on the housing problem with old man Pfeffer. Old Housing Pfeffer, we called him. And I'll get it. McGee Real Estate Agency. Buying and building, swapping and selling. McGee speaking. Who? Oh, yes, Mr. Gildersleeve. Yeah, we're listing your loft building, but there's only been one inquiry about it. No, he didn't like it. Well, when I told him there's no lift in the loft, he laughed and left. As I was saying, Phil, the district in this town that needs building up is down by the railroad. And I got inside information that they're going to electrify the railroad. And if that happens... Oh, shucks, I'll get it. McGee Rental Agency. McGee speaking. Who? Oh, hello, Mr. Hampat. It does? You are? It is? You can't? They do? Oh, that's terrible, Hampat. I'll find you another place right away. Okay, Hampat. Can you imagine that, Sil? That was Reginald Hampat, the actor. Remember that room we rented him across from the theater?
Yes, don't he like it, please, sir?
Well, he says it's ruining his health. He can't sleep nights.
Well, how come, Mr. McGee?
There's a big electric sign across the street, and all night long it flashes on and off.
He'd bother his eyes, huh?
No, but every time the sign flashes, Hampat jumps out of bed and takes a bow.
Well, Mr. McGee, how come he don't pull down the shade, please, sir?
Well, that's what I wondered, but he says the union won't let him lower his own curtain. Oh, hi, sis. Have a chair. What can we do for you today?
I am Mrs. Crawford, and I'm very...
Oh, well, I'm glad to know you, Mrs. Crawford. How's Brother Crawford? You're talking to one of the biggest realtors in the business, sis. Been in this business since I was 3 years old.
3 years?
Yes, sir. Why, when I was only 3 years old, I built some little houses out of blocks, set up my teddy bear as a holding company, financed it with lollipops, and foreclosed in time for my afternoon nap. From then on, it was a cinch. Every land boom I was in doubled itself. Boom Boom McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, indeed?
Indeed, and in word, sis. Boom Boom McGee, bombarding bachelors, blondes, beggars, and bridegrooms with bombastic ballyhoo for better abodes, outbidding, blustering bullies and bartering for banks, bars, bookshops, beehives, and bird bowers, building beautiful bungalows for blushing brides with basement, bedroom, boudoir, and bath, and broadcasting Boom Boom McGee as a byword from Baltimore to Bally Bally. But enough of this Twitter. I mustn't be so chatty, sis. What was it you wanted?
Why, I rent an apartment from you at the Elms. You remember?
Oh, yes, the Elms. Nice place, the Elms.
And the sidewalks are in a deplorable condition, covered with ice. Can't you do something about it?
Oh, absolutely, sis. I'll send a man out there this afternoon.
To clean the walk?
No, to change the sign. We'll call it the Slippery Elm.
Oh.
Now then, what was I saying, Sil?
You were saying something about a little old railroad, please, sir.
Oh, yes, we was talking about electrifying the railroad. Well, it's about time them railroads would modernize.
Yes, and how much smarter to modernize. Your floors will look if you use Johnson's wax, the finest.
Harpo. You back again?
Yes, I want to pay my rent.
Well, fine, hand it over. Harpo.
Okay, here you are.
Hey, what's the idea of paying off with 2-bit pieces?
Well, I live by myself, you know.
Yeah, but what are these?
Bachelor quarters. Mail me the receipt.
Well, come on, Phil. Put on your hat.
Well, yes, where are we going, Miss McGee?
We're going down to the railroad yards and look over the property. I'm sorry, sis. The office is closed for the day.
Oh, don't you know who I am?
No, I don't, sis. Who are you and who sent you?
Billy Mills sent me.
And your name?
Rosalie.
Oh, Rosalie. You come to get the key. Give Rosalie the key, boys. There you are, Rosalie. One of our best flats. Over the hill, Billy.
remind you again of Johnson's new creamy white furniture polish, entirely different from all others. It gives an exquisite satiny wax luster that sheds dust and finger smudges, wards off scratches, ensures lasting beauty for your furniture. If you want something better than the old-fashioned oily kind of polish that leaves a cloudy haze on tabletops and chair arms, then be sure to try the new modern polish absolutely free from oil. Johnson's creamy white furniture polish in the handsome glass bottle.
How far is the little old railroad yard, please?
Oh, well, let's see. No, it's just about another block, Silver.
Well, hello there, Fisher.
Oh, Nick the Populous. Hi, Nick.
Oh, I'm doing as well as could be unexpected. What is this I'm listening to about you being a real estatesman? Or is somebody just being a turtle-tail?
No, it's a fact, Nick. I'm doing quite a business in buying, selling, and renting houses, apartments, stores, and all stuff like that there. Silly's helping me.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Well, I was maybe seeing you with an idea for finding a house for my son Algerios to living in it.
Oh.
He is being married with a Cupid and is not wishing to live in the same places with his outlaws.
You mean his in-laws? I understand, Nick. You know the old saying, live alone and like it.
Sure. There is also another old saying which I appeal to. It is saying, the corsets of a true love is not running like an old smoothie, unquote.
So you're looking for a house for the newlyweds, eh, Nick?
Oh, sure, Fisher. But finding a little loving nest here is like hunting for a noodle in a smokestack, I'm thinking. But as I'm telling these kids when they are marrying each other, kids, I am saying, while they are making cuckoo eyes at each other, kids, I'm telling them while she is talking a baby talks with him, kids, I'm saying...
What? Dad, Braddock, what did you say to the kids?
Well, what is the difference? Nobody is paying the slightest attempting with me. Well, so long, Fisher. If somebody is coming to me looking for a homely place to live, I will prefer him to you.
Well, come on, Sil. Let's walk over to the railroad yards and look around them.
Yes, but it's getting awful dark, Mr. McGee.
Well, I'm glad of it. If anybody sees a big real estate man like me snooping around there, they might suspect what I'm doing.
But I don't think they will, please. There ain't nobody here but me and you.
No, I hope not. You know, I can just visualize this property a few years from now as an ideal residential district. Electric trains whizzing past your door, silent and clean. And if I can buy a small cottage right by the side of the track, I can... Oh, I'm sorry, Bud. I didn't see you.
That's all right. What's your moniker? I'm Denver Louie.
Oh, I'm Waxy McGee, Bud. Confidentially, I'm nosing around here looking for a little cottage I can pick up cheap. So
Say, I know just the thing for you, Waxy. Come with me.
Oh. You see, Sil? That's destiny.
No, sir, that's Louis.
Imagine me stumbling on the very guy that can sell me a little house right here.
Here you are, buddy. It's small, but it's comfortable.
Oh, you lived here long, Louis?
Yeah, off and on. Oh. I travels a lot, see. I can let you have it cheap.
Well, I can't see much of it in the dark, Louis. Suppose I come back tomorrow.
Okay, but there's another guy after me to sell it, and I would...
Oh, well, let's have a look at it now, then. You got a match, Sil?
No, Miss McGee.
Me neither, buddy.
Oh, well, it don't matter much what the house looks like. It's the property that counts.
That's what I always say. Here's the back porch.
Cute, ain't it? Iron railing and everything. Now, come on, Sil.
Well, yes, Miss McGee, but I don't think
come on.
How do you like it, buddy? Steam heated, got a little tower upstairs to look out of and everything.
It's kind of bare. Oh, well, who cares about that? How much, Louis?
$25.
$25? Why, that's ridiculous.
Okay, make it 20.
No, I didn't mean that.
15. I need the cash.
Okay. Here, take it quick. You come to my office in the morning and we'll sign the papers. Here's my card.
Thanks, buddy. Me old mother is going to hate to think of me selling the old homestead. But you know how it is. So long, Waxy.
So long, Louis. See you in the morning. Hot dog, Sil. Hot dog. I got it. Just what I wanted. A little red house right on the tracks. Now watch me go places. Hey, Sil. Hey, what is this? We're moving.
That's what we show you. You got a little house on the track and we is both going places.
What you mean?
You done bought yourself a caboose.
Oh, sure.
If you have linoleum on your kitchen floor, or if you have some linoleum rugs in your other rooms, don't run the risk of spoiling them by floor scrubbing. Linoleum that's scrubbed gradually loses its life and color. It cracks, gets bumpy, and finally has to be replaced with a new floor covering. Now here's the proper way to keep your linoleum and floors clean and sparkling all the time. Use Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat. This wonderful liquid polish is very easy to apply. It never streaks or smears. Glow Coat dries in 20 minutes to a beautiful polish, making your linoleum shine like new without rubbing or buffing. You can save yourself all the drudgery of floor scrubbing by protecting your floors and linoleum with Johnson's Glow Coat. Look for the attractive yellow can with the lettering GLO-COAT. Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat.
Well, Sil, I was quite impressed with Billy Mills' music tonight.
Yes, sir. Them 20 sounded real 40.
Wonder what he thought of me. Was he impressed by me as a real estate man?
Well, I wouldn't want to re-quote what he said, but...
Oh, come on, Sil. Flattery don't affect me much. What'd he say?
Well, he said tonight it looked like you bit off more than you could chew.
Good night, folks. Good night, Molly.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Glow Coat at Richmond, Wisconsin, inviting you to be with us again next Monday night at the same time. Good night.
This is the Red Network of the National Company.
By the way, you notice the show was introduced as Fibber McGee and Company. The reason is that Fibber, Molly was ill during this time, and she was not doing well. She would be back in a few months, not just weeks. It was a month. It was a serious illness, but she did recover. January 17th, 1938 gives us an idea of the evolution of the character of Fibber McGee over the years. Coming up next, we'll go out on the farm and see what's going on with Claudia.
Every family should have a home shelter area. Every family should stock that shelter area with a 2-week supply of food and water. Prepare now to survive disaster.
Sorry if the rambling was annoying on this episode, but I had a couple of shows that I thought needed some explanation. And Truth or Consequences, always enjoyable to talk about. Claudia up next, 76 years ago, January 17th, 1949.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Oh, come on, David. Have a little more cream.
Nope, no thanks.
Oh, poor Majesty, giving us all this cream for nothing. Well, guess I'll have some more.
Take the whole pitcher full if you want.
I have never seen such slush.
Such what?
David, have you ever seen such slush?
Such slush?
Yes.
Where?
Well, where do you think where? Where would slush be?
I'm sure I wouldn't know. The marmalade, please.
Right here. Now, listen, don't put your nose back in your paper. I haven't finished.
You haven't even begun because I'm going to the office.
I am still talking?
Well, that's just exactly why I'm going.
Oh,
and don't you try being stern with me. You're punk at it.
I can't win, that's all. David, when will you be home? Be home early?
I may never come home at all.
I wouldn't blame you.
It was a lovely, quiet breakfast until a little woman that I know started talking about slush.
What's so terrible about slush?
Because that same little woman must think that I'm a sap.
Did I say that?
Practically.
When?
You think you can put it over on me, don't you? Well, you haven't got a chance. Not a chance.
David, what are you talking about?
You think I don't know why you mentioned slush? Oh, so casually.
Was there a reason?
If I hadn't so carefully deviated the conversation...
Deviated. Oh, what a lovely word. Sounds like something the dentist does.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, go on.
Well, if I hadn't have allowed it, you would have gone on from slush to wet roads to puddles in the sidewalk, and from puddles in the sidewalk to rain, and from rain to my wearing a raincoat and an umbrella, right?
Well, you don't wear an umbrella, David. You carry
Now
it.
look me in the eye. Was that your insidious plot?
Well, as a matter of fact, I hadn't thought of the umbrella business. You don't look like an umbrella kind of man.
But the rest was your plot now, wasn't it? The defense rest.
The defense? Huh. Well, I never. I am the defense, my good man. Here I take all the trouble of figuring out a subtle way of advising you to wear a raincoat and rubbers. All I get is insults. I'm outraged. I'm outraged.
What's the matter? Don't you have the courage to come right on out and tell me that I should wear
No, I don't have the courage, and it's all your fault.
Just for that? I will not wear them.
All right, don't. Walk around in slush up to your ankles. It doesn't matter to you that you just had a cold.
Yeah, over 3 weeks ago, that cold
I'm not going to worry. I try to hint subtly. It doesn't work.
I'm too smart for you.
I try to advise. It doesn't work.
I will not be pampered. Pamper your son if you must, but leave me out of it.
If I'd pamper your son, you'd wring my neck.
You bet your sweet life I would. Hey, where's my coat?
In the closet. Where do you think?
In the closet.
You're right. David, Roger wears rubbers. He wore them here just the other night. I saw him.
Roger is 20 years older than I am.
That's all the more reason you should follow his example.
Claudia.
He has years more experience than you.
Where is my briefcase?
On the chair. I suppose you think rubbers aren't manly.
That has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all.
Much.
Doesn't have a
They
thing
sell
to
them
do.
in men's shoe stores, don't
What's
they?
men's shoe stores got to do with it?
Well, they're designed to be worn over men's shoes, aren't they?
Oh, don't
You
be
bought a pair at one time or another, didn't you?
No, I certainly did
Well,
not. They were
wear
given to
'em.
me. You forgot one thing.
I did. What?
That it's a waste of money to have bought them and not to wear them. You forgot that.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. But it is.
I knew it.
Thanks.
You hadn't thought of that.
No.
Well, the way your mind runs to pennies and cents.
Well, it's a cinch I have more sense than you.
Now that does it.
I thought it would.
Now I'll tell you.
Oh, do.
I was going to wear my rubbers. I was perfectly willing to wear them till you just cracked that lowly pun.
David, you're fooling.
No, I'm not. I'm not fooling. I was going to wear them all along.
Oh. Well, I thought you would, but I enjoy arguing.
Oh, sure.
Quick, darling, I'll get them before you change your
Now,
mind.
wait a minute. First, a promise.
You mean a blind promise?
No, not a blind, but just a promise that you'll never tell me to wear them again.
You must take me for an idiot.
I'll take you any old way.
Oh, sweet.
But promise now.
Nothing doing.
All right. Goodbye.
David, you'll be sopping wet by the time you get into the car.
Then promise.
Oh, I suppose, Oh, all right, I promise.
No fingers crossed or anything.
No, look.
Well, I don't trust you.
Well, I don't trust you. Go on, get into the closet and get your rubbers out. Before I bat my eyelashes, you'll disappear without them, I suppose.
Bat your eyelashes.
Golly, those rubbers must be moldy by now.
Well, that's exactly the way I like them. Nice,
course.
moldy rubber.
That's the best way. Hey, put the light on in the closet.
I don't need it.
Your rubbers are way back on the floor someplace. You better put the light on. Oh, all right, I'll do it.
Where are they?
Hey, it's certainly a nice bright light, isn't it? David, you'll get your hands dirty.
Where are my rubbers?
I told you, darling, in the back on the floor.
I can't find them.
Oh, of course you can find them.
Of course. Only I can't.
David, they must be there. I saw them there.
When?
Oh, how do I know? When I saw them, that's enough.
How I ever let myself get talked to? Go get that coat out of.
Darling, what do you have down there?
I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea.
Galoshes, maybe?
I will not
David,
wear
listen.
galoshes.
If you can't find your rubbers, you can always
Here
wear...
comes the glove, I think.
Oh. Well, for heaven's sakes, my leather mitten. I've been looking for it for weeks.
Yeah, a fine little housekeeper you turned out to be.
Well, anybody can lose a mitten. Even a kitten.
Found one. Here's one.
Good, throw it out.
All these coats. I didn't know we had so many coats.
We don't have so many coats.
All around my neck, I'm suffocating. Hey, here's something else.
Oh, good, what's that?
I don't know. Have a look.
Well, for heaven's sakes, Mama's handbag. She's looking for it before she left. I wonder what it's doing on the floor in the closet.
I wonder what I'm doing on the floor in the closet.
You know, darling, since the baby creeps around, everything disappears. David, it must be in there. I distinctly saw two, and, a rubber can't walk off all by itself.
If you didn't keep the card table in here, there might be more room.
There's no other place to put the card table. I'm the kind of housekeeper who doesn't like things showing.
I'm the kind of housekeeper that likes to find things where they belong.
What are you complaining about? David, you have the second rubber right there in your hand.
I had a devil of a time finding it in that closet. It's darker down there on that floor than the black hole of Calcutta.
Oh, I didn't know you'd been to Calcutta.
In another reincarnation.
My.
Whew. That's a fine way to start a day, I must say.
I think you were a squirrel in another reincarnation.
Now I have to comb my hair all over again.
Terrible tragedy.
Well, if I made you crawl around on the floor of that closet, I'd never hear the end of it.
Well,
I know
I'm
that
a woman. It's
woman
different.
it makes no difference
Put
at
'em
all.
on before you change your mind. Go
My
on.
mind was never unchanged.
Darling, don't you want to sit on the chair so you don't break your neck?
No, I have perfect balance.
People with perfect balance break their necks, too. Probably even more often.
Well, how do you figure that?
Well, firstly, because they're so proud of their perfect balance that they take chances people without perfect balance would have the sense not to take.
A very convincing argument.
I thought so, too.
There. You see, I have one rubber on already.
Well, you were probably standing on your good foot.
Well, both of my feet are good, thank you.
Well, no credit to you.
I hate rubbers. They remind me of when I had a governess.
That poor woman. She must have had to have infinite patience. David, going to break your neck. I'm warning you for the last time.
I can manage.
Well, so I see.
Confounded rubber won't go on.
It's funny, the other foot went on all right.
Yeah, I can't understand it. It should fit.
Well, maybe your good feet are different after all.
Well, my shoes aren't.
Oh, David, listen, please sit down. You know, that's what these chairs in the front hall are for.
Oh, all right. Something must be the matter with this rubber.
Well, once you sit down, darling, you'll see how simple it is.
It doesn't fit any better sitting down than it did standing up. Well, no wonder.
No wonder what?
It's a rubber for my left foot.
A what?
A rubber for my left foot, and I'm trying to get it on my right foot.
Well, then you must have the rubber for your right foot on your left foot. Switch around.
No, my left rubber is on my left foot. I'd have had more trouble getting it on.
Well, that is certainly queer.
Mm-hmm. I just have two left-handed rubbers, that's all. Yep, that's what it is. Two left-handed rubbers.
That's great.
It's convenient, all right. I wonder how,
Darling, maybe when you bought the rubbers, you had two left feet.
It could be. It was quite a while ago.
Oh, you must have been terribly attractive with two left feet.
Yeah, I was. I walk kind of sidewise like this, you see.
You mean slew-footed? Or pigeon-toed?
Let me see now. One foot was pigeon-toed and one foot was slew-footed.
Oh, what charm.
So it gets
that
this
must have
effect,
given
you see. As you go down the street. Isn't that lovely? When I walk down the street, everybody turned around and looked at me. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I'd known you then.
Come to think of it, whoever it was who took my right rubber and left me his left one, come to think of it now, he must have two right feet.
Say, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hadn't thought of that.
Now, let's see. Think hard.
Yes, I'm thinking.
Now, who do we know with two right feet?
I will bet you that half the people we know have two right feet.
Mm-hmm.
Only we don't know it.
Yeah, but who's been up here with two right feet?
In rubbers?
Mm-hmm.
Only Roger.
Roger?
Hmm.
Oh, how happy that partner of mine must have been when he spied my right rubber. I'll bet a man with two right feet has a terrible time buying a pair of rubbers.
Must. So he has to go around snitching the right feet of his friends. Nothing else for him to do.
You just wait till I get my hands on him, though.
Poor Roger.
Well, I am on my way.
David, the rubbers.
What about them?
Well, aren't you going to wear them?
Now, look, fun is fun, darling. But I have not got two left feet.
Fun is fun, but Roger hasn't got two right feet either, so if he can, you can put them on.
Now, Claudia.
Oh, go on. Force yourself. David, you promised me a promise.
Did I do that?
You did, in a moment of weakness?
No, I cannot go back on my promise. In that case, I shall wear my rubber.
Good.
I didn't promise to wear anybody else's, so I shall wear only mine.
David, now you can't go running around in one rubber.
Oh, who says I can't?
Well, all the other commuters will whisper and talk.
Who cares? I shall wear my one rubber and no more.
Oh, David,
the other doesn't
can't.
fit, so it's one or none at all. Personally, I think it's a very happy compromise.
David, you're such an idiot. What are you going to do with the other one?
Bring it into Roger and exchange it for mine. See, I can wear it on my left hand, see?
Oh, of course. It fits perfectly there. Looks stunning,
good,
too.
doesn't it?
Oh, stunning.
Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
David!
Hey, don't you even want to shake rubbers with me?
I do not. And all I can say is if I were walking down the street with you, I wouldn't know you.
Okay, well, bye-bye.
David, watch out for the slush. You'll get your foot wet. Listen, hop, David. Please, for heaven's sakes, hop.
Going to be home for lunch tomorrow? Want to give your noon meal a special touch without a bit of trouble? Bring home a carton of Coca-Cola today and have an ice-cold bottle of delicious Coke with your sandwich or salad. It's so easy and so pleasant to lunch refreshed.
Say, Joe, you wouldn't happen to have 2 left feet, would you?
2 left?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me have a look. No, I guess I have one of each, David.
How inconvenient of you. Now I'll have to carry this rubber all the way into town.
Oh, it's a tough life.
It sure is. You don't know how tough it is and how wet.
No, then Claudia was right. It's very slushy out, huh?
Oh, I meant wet with milk.
With what?
With milk. Our cow is flooding us with milk, Joe. I mean it. She gives us 20 quarts a day. And for a small family, that is a lot of milk.
I'll say it is. What are you going to do about it?
So far, I've been drinking it, but we'll have to figure something out. Would you like a bottle?
Oh, no, thanks. I'll have a Coke. Hey, you better rush for that train there, David. Hop. For heaven's sakes, hop, man. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. These broadcasts are adapted for radio by Manya Starr, and the entire production is supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
76 years ago, January 17th, 1949, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On our Saturday show, Suspense with Jack Benny, Dragnet with Jack Webb, the Hallmark Playhouse, Old Soldiers Never Die, that stars Raymond Massey, Have Gun Will Travel starring John Daner, and another episode of Claudia. And then on Sunday, The Magnificent Obsession, an episode of the Screen Guild Theater, The New Adventures of Nero Wolfe, Calling All Cars, Rocky Fortune, and Superman. Monday, more comedy with My Friend Irma and the Burglar, Fred Allen, Fibber McGee and Molly from 1936, Sam Shovel, she was on her last leg. That's Abbott and Costello, as you know. And then we're going to have an episode of The Big Show. We've never done that. It's 90 minutes long, and it's a variety show. So we'll see what you think. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow on Saturday for more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.